All right, everybody, we are live with the Working Fans WWE Elimination Chamber watch along from Perth, Australia. Yes, it's about to be 5 a.m. I'm up. I'm doing this. Forgive me if my voice is going to be a little scratchy. Didn't really plan on being up this early today, but last minute I said, man, let's do a watch along. I might have producer Joe tag in at some point this morning. Who knows? But before we get started, before we kick off things, let's talk about our new sponsor. It's Game Up, baby. All right. It's a full flavor, 110 calorie, low carb drink. We're talking about Gatorade, like high energy alcohol. It's a seltzer. It's fruit punch, it's orange, it's lemon, and lime. I'm stumbling. It's early in the morning. Let's get this thing right here. Why don't we just have a commercial that's going to tell you all about it?
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up at drinkgameup.com or at your nearest liquor store.
All right, baby. WWE Elimination Chamber from Perth, Australia. For those who don't know, the Kabuki Warriors already defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell on the pre-show. And, let's see what's about to happen. I don't know what match is going to open this show up, but I'm hoping it's like the one of the Elimination Chambers. What do you think? I'm thinking the women's elimination chamber might open it up. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. Right now, I don't know if I'm a little bit like a minute behind, but I'm looking at Perth, Australia, the big stadium out there. And anybody that's in the comments here, feel free to join in. Give me some predictions on what you think is going to happen tonight. Maybe we get some surprises. Do you think The Rock showed up in Australia? I don't personally. I know some people have been telling me they do. I'm watching Nia Jax walk in now. Rhea Ripley. I wonder what closes the show. I've been thinking it's going to be the men's elimination chamber, but they've built up Rhea Ripley so much. And in Australia, I wonder if Ripley and Nia Jax actually like close out the show. See Bianca Belair coming out here. Yeah. I'm curious. Logan Paul coming out here right now. Logan Paul with the U.S. Championship. Kevin Owens with a koala bear. How good is Kevin Owens, people? Like, how good is Kevin Owens? Like, this guy always has the best matches, best segments. He's been good, so good for so long, and such an underrated career. I mean, closed WrestleMania night one last year with his best friend, and they won the tag team championships. The year before, he closed night one and main evented with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's going to be pretty hard for Kevin Owens to top that stuff at this year's WrestleMania, I would imagine. But man, you gotta just love Kevin Owens. He's such a constant and just always works really hard. See in the chamber right now, we're getting a little promotional video. Looks like about Australia, and we're on the road to WrestleMania, baby. Let's see. So, like I said in the pre-show, that was our first match. Here was the Kabuki Warriors did win. They did beat Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. I did not watch that because, quite frankly, I was already sleeping still. So just pulled this out. We got some good sponsors here for our show here. I mentioned Game Up, but let's talk about a book you guys should be reading. For you old school wrestling fans out there, check out this book.
All you got young wrestling fans out there, listen, Old Black Bart has got a book. It's called Wrestle platform. It's got some dadgum good stories in there about some dadgum good wrestlers.
Read stories of Dusty Rhodes, the Von Erich, Scott Casey, Sergeant Slaughter, Roddy Piper, Mr. Fuji, Ron Bass, Bruiser Brody, Mike Davis, the Grappler, and many others.
And I guarantee you one thing, that it'll be the best dadgum read you've had in a long, long time.
Get your book today at Russellville.com or on Amazon. Russellville, it's where wrestling lives.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harris, and Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville, it's where wrestling lives.
All right, everybody. We are back after our sponsors, and I'm looking at the huge stadium for Perth, Australia right now as we are getting ready for our opening match here. I don't have the volume on, so I can't see. Right now I'm looking at a good crowd shot. Hey, anybody who watched the pre-show, Rosenberg and Sam Roberts, they're starting to look like each other right now. Just a thought. I'm watching Raquel Rodriguez come out here. Liv Morgan, looks like entrances from earlier. So I wouldn't mind if they started off with the Women's Elimination Chamber. See Grayson Waller coming out here. And they taped a segment on SmackDown last night, for those who watch it, where Roman basically said to Grayson Waller, I got something I want to tell you, but it's for your ears only. So they kind of teased something there. So it'll be interesting because we got Cody and Seth out here flying to Australia for a segment on the Grayson Waller Effect. You got to feel like something big is going to happen. Maybe sets up that tag match for WrestleMania night one we've been hearing all about. We've been hearing the rumors. Do you want to see a tag match? Cody and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns, night one. Right now, seeing Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Here's another side thing for you guys. Since Vince McMahon has left WWE, and even before that, when he had temporarily left, has Michael Cole's commentary just been so much better? Like, I just feel like he's really been light years better than he used to be. It was just so noticeable. All right, so we are starting off with an Elimination Chamber match here. I don't know which one, but I bet you it's going to be the women's. Only because I think there's so much speculation on the men's and who's actually going to win. For the women, to me, I feel like they've set up Becky Lynch. Like, Becky Lynch has to win the Women's Elimination Chamber. I just feel like that's the main story. I wouldn't mind if Bianca Belair or Liv Morgan or Naomi or one of them won, but I heard some people say they'd like to see Raquel Rodriguez win, and I think that'd be interesting. Okay, so we are starting with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Bianca Belair is the first one out. And how good is Bianca Belair, right? Well, I mean, what a star. Here's the former WrestleMania main eventer, if you will. Main evented night one with Sasha Banks a couple years ago, and they tore the house down. She's won the Royal Rumble before. She had a heck of a title reign. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bianca. She's just got a certain charisma to her, too, and obviously great athlete, incredibly strong in the women's division, and very athletic. Interesting. Now, I wish I'd got the stats for this. I wonder if all these women have competed in a chamber before. I feel like Bianca has. So, she's got a little strut, a little dance in the ring. And her husband, of course, is Montez Ford. If they have kids, they're probably going to be the most athletic kids you've ever seen. Montez Ford and Bianca Belair, like that has got to be some great genetics. Talk about your stud athlete family. As Bianca gets in the chamber. So we'll see who's coming out next. And, whoever's coming out next, obviously they won't be starting the match. It's Raquel Rodriguez, which is not surprising. Raquel's a big, strong lady, but she's not typically who you would want to start off a match with like this. So Bianca would be one. I would say Becky would be someone I would start this match off with. Maybe Becky and a Naomi. That would be interesting. Not a lot of heels in this women's chamber, is there? Just looking at it here. I think Tiffany Stratton is pretty much the only real solid heel, I would say, in this women's elimination chamber. And I don't see Tiffany Stratton winning this. Excuse me. Yeah, it's early in the morning. I'm still a little nasally here. But, yeah. Very interesting here. Raquel Rodriguez coming out next. What do you think about her main roster run so far? I feel it's been definitely a little underwhelming. I don't know. I just feel like she's got a lot of potential, but it just hasn't been there. See another sight of this pretty huge crowd. I was talking about this on the podcast. Tiffany Stratton comes out next, so she won't be starting. Tiffy time. What a run for her. What a moment for her to be on this big stage right now. But yeah, I was saying on this podcast, I mean, if you want to know how big this TKO group is, the UFC has a big fight night they're doing tonight in Mexico. So Mexico, Australia, like this is a global company that was already a global company when it was just WWE, it was just UFC. Now combined, it's unbelievable. Both those events happening tonight or today. So yeah, I don't know. Tiffany Stratton, she'll be the big main heel here. You see her take the deep breath in there. I can't think that she's got to be nervous. This has got to be such a big moment for her. As Bianca is waving to her. So interesting. So we had these three start. So there are 5 women here. No, there's 6 women. So we're going to find out who's coming out next. Let's see. It's Liv Morgan. Okay. So my guess was correct. It looks like we probably will be starting off with Naomi and Becky Lynch. Liv would have been the other one I was thinking about too. So now fans just love Liv Morgan. I mean, personally, I like her. But I wouldn't say I'm the hugest fan, but she definitely has a connection with people, They seem to really like her journey. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She's had some injuries here and there. Former women's champion, former Money in the Bank winner. It would be cool to see her win a elimination chamber. Add that to her career. But I got to go with Becky. I think Becky goes all the way with this. We shall see. Liv Morgan. There we go. We got to close the door. And now that's the last pod that'll be closed as we get ready for our first 2 participants to start this off, which looks like here comes Naomi. What a moment for this lady too, right? Former women's tag champion, former women's champion. She's won the Royal Rumble. She's had a hell of a career now, and she just left for TNA and became the TNA Knockout Women's Champion, and now she's back already competing in the WWE Elimination Chamber at Perth. She's been in the Royal Rumble. Like, good for Naomi. I'm watching this. I'm thinking, like, what are some of your favorite Elimination Chamber matches, folks? For me, I always think of some of the early ones, like when Triple H won the world title from well, I don't know if he would won, but basically he beat Bill Goldberg. He was there in the final two. Goldberg had went on a run eliminating Kane and many people. Then there was the one Shawn Michaels won, which was like the first one ever. I think that was the one Triple H got hurt, where Rob Van Dam landed awkwardly on his throat. Naomi firing this crowd up. Great energy from Naomi. Good to see her out here. She is crushing it. Here comes Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch. Yeah. What a career. First ever women's main event at WrestleMania. And, not when there was a night one, night two. Like, she did it just as the main event. Her, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. And you got to realize it was Becky Lynch that was really the reason for that main event. I mean, her, obviously Rousey. Charlotte was kind of added on, I feel like. No offense to Charlotte. I think she gets a lot of unnecessary hate, but, like, Rousey was such a big crossover star still at that time. But Becky just had all this momentum, I remember. It was pretty wild. Her family, talk about genetics, her kid, with Seth Rollins there, I mean, that's going to be a great athlete too. So, like I said, I think to me, Becky Lynch has got to be the one. I think she's going to go all the way. She'll go coast to coast here. She's had such a great story, leading into this. Those interviews she's done where she's talked about how much this means to her, missing her father's funeral, and, the conversation she's had to have with her kids, including the awkward one about why daddy wants to beat up Mally, which I thought was hilarious. So, but like I said, I think Becky will win this. I like this. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to see some of these other women get the win. I wouldn't complain. Naomi coming back from TNA and then goes all the way. Be interesting to see what all these women are doing at WrestleMania. Like I said, I think Becky, she's probably going to be wrestling Ripley when all's said and done. I'm going to guess Bianca needs a big match, so my guess is maybe Jade Cargill will be there by that time. Maybe she makes a surprise appearance here. That'd be something too. And then I don't know what you do with some of these other ladies here. I think would be interesting is if maybe they got rid of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and put it at WrestleMania again. I think that would be something good to see. Because it'd be really interesting to see some of these women like in the Money in the Bank. Seth is here tonight. What are the odds we get a cash in tonight? Wouldn't that be something? Damian Priest cashed in and took the title from Seth Rollins. Nice athleticism by Naomi here. I might be a minute behind, so what I'm watching, Naomi with a shoulder block. Nice goal behind. And Naomi appears to be a step ahead of Becky Lynch right now. Two ladies circling here. Becky, go behind. Nicely done. Naomi reverses, gets the roll up. Becky got a pin. Oh. All right, both ladies going for the pin. Here we go. Oh, Becky with a bridge. Looks like she's trying to look for a backslide, maybe. Backslide, she gets it. Cannot get the victory here. Backslide. That was the move that Kerry Von Erich beat Ric Flair with in Texas for the NWA Heavyweight Champion for you old school wrestling fans out there. Look at that. Becky slides out. She's getting some applause. Becky with a nice arm drag takedown. Naomi returns with an arm drag takedown. Best arm drag takedown I ever saw, Ricky Steamboat. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat used to do real deep, deep arm drags. See Becky firing this crowd up. Looking for the handshake. Naomi, a little high five, and they both try to kick each other. They both catch. They're saying they're going to put it down on 3. And here we go. And they're both going to trade right hands now. So far, the story here is Naomi and Becky seem to be able to counter everything that they've been doing. Naomi with a sunset flip. Oh, she's looking for her finisher submission. Becky rolls over, though. Oh, nice drop kick by Naomi. Becky fires off. Becky goes for the turnbuckle. Naomi reverses it. Oh, Naomi kind of bulldogs her into the turnbuckle. Never seen that before. Now Naomi going to the top rope. Naomi's very creative. Underrated performer, in my opinion. Oh, Becky with a drop kick. Naomi with a boot to the face. Let's see. Oh, reversal. A lot of reversals here. Oh, Naomi kicks Becky in the face as she's coming to the out. Now they're battling on the outside of the structure here. Right near Liv Morgan, actually. Trying to take turns ramming each other into this cage fence. And Naomi looks like she's trying to climb this cage fence now. Becky's got her legs. Oh, okay. So Naomi's ramming Becky's face into this cage structure now with her knees while she's swinging on top. Naomi, gotta tell you, she is very creative. I love her offense. She's dancing, got those glow shoes there in the dark dancing. Oh, split leg off the top of the structure. Wow. And Naomi with a near fall. Oh, Becky fires off. Oh, both women try for the crossbody, and they are down. We are sound 15 seconds before we get someone comes in. Who's coming in next? I'm going to go Liv. Although it would be a perfect opportunity to bring in the heel, Tiffany Stratton. Let's see. Who's coming? And it's Tiffy. Yeah, Tiffy time. I was thinking both women are down. This would be a good opportunity for the heel here. Oh. Tiffany Stratton. Ooh. She's got both women laid out in the corner. Springboard elbow on Naomi. Looks like she's going to do one to Becky as well. Boom. Springboard elbow on Becky. By the way, for you old school wrestling fans out there, best springboard elbow I ever saw was the Great Muta. Tiffany tries to pin both ladies, which I always liked. You know, I might be just, again, very old school. I like when wrestlers keep trying to go for the pin. Becky counters Tiffany with a jawbreaker here. Oh, Tiffany reverses. And oh, spine buster by Tiffany Stratton. Now, for you old school fans, you know Iron Anderson has the best spine buster. I don't care what you say. Although Ron Simmons had a hell of a spine buster. Anybody tuning in is old school wrestling. You tell me who had the best spine buster. All right. I'm an Iron Anderson guy. Ron Simmons was right there, though, too. I love Simmons' spine buster. All right, Tiffany Stratton going to work here on Becky Lynch still. Naomi's out of it right now. Becky's starting to fire back. Oh, Tiffany puts on the shoulders. Becky counters. Becky looks like maybe going for this armor. Here comes Naomi. She takes both ladies out with a crossbody. Have both pinned, too. Did not. That might have been one of the best, like, double pins I've ever seen in the middle of a match. She got all of everybody. Naomi firing off in the corner with these giant forearms. Looks like these combination stinger splash. Oh, Becky runs across and just lays out Naomi with a forearm. Another old school reference. Best flying forearm I ever saw was Tito Santana. Tiffany Stratton with the pin. Oh, man. So we got a long way to go here. I'm guessing maybe Raquel comes out next. We get the power. Although Bianca could definitely do some power stuff too. Now, here's another question for you guys to tune into. What's your favorite cage match, too? Is it a basic cage match? Is it the Chamber? Is it the Hell in a Cell? Do you like War Games? You know, that multi-person match. I always like War Games, personally. Oh, wow. Tiffany Stratton with both women on her shoulders. Naomi comes off, though. She rolls over with Becky. Oh, slaps Naomi in the face. Picks her up on the shoulders again. Tiffany Stratton, what a great athlete she is. Whoa, rolling over. I mean, yeah, I don't know if she gets the credit for athletic ability. Like, she is strong. Oh, Becky Lynch climbs up the ropes, does a Russian leg sweep. And here's Naomi with the leg drop on both ladies. And if those of you wondering, like, old school wrestling references I'm going to make, Brad Armstrong had the best Russian leg sweep I ever saw of any wrestler. Oh, this is interesting. We're seeing cameras for all three women waiting right now. Yeah, little mini camera shots there. All right. It's very interesting now since Kevin Dunn's done. Little subtle production differences. I feel like they're definitely trying to be more sports-like. As Naomi gets shoved out there. Tiffany tries to score the victory at Becky. Tiffany Stratton, I don't know. I think she's a pretty good heel. Now we're seeing the chamber clock come up here. I got 6 seconds coming out here. Who's it's going to be? I'm going to say Raquel Rodriguez. Let's see. Well, we'll see. Raquel Rodriguez. Going once, going twice. Oh, I got the 2K24 score still up there, too. Nope, it's Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan will go at it with Tiffany Stratton, and she's firing up like any good babyface would. Look at her right here. Throwing Tiffany Stratton to the outside. Firing up with these right hands. Going to throw it in a pod near Bianca. Bianca selling. Oh, to the other pod. Tiffany Stratton taking a beating here. I love the way Tiffany's kind of bouncing around this ring, too. Like, I got to say, like, she's a pretty good performer. I don't know if I've ever given her the credit she deserves. Like, you know, great athlete, very strong. Also just bouncing around like a good heel. Liv is firing up everybody. There's that jawbreaker, that code breaker. Both knees. I've been talking about old school wrestling and some of the best moves I've ever seen. Clearly, Jericho is probably the one most famous for the code breaker that I can think of. And a lot of this tonight. A lot of women like flying to each corner here. Tiffany is going up with those knees, which kind of reminds me of CM Punk a little bit. And she comes off. Oh, with a giant code breaker off the ropes. Tiffany's got the near fall. I'm sorry, Liv's got the near fall. Here comes Tiffany, though. Not Tiffy time yet. I wonder if we'll get an elimination before all the women are in. Right now, we got 2 more. We're waiting on Raquel and Bianca. I wonder if Raquel will be last, actually. She is overcoming an injury, or she had some issue with her skin, I believe. But she is back. Good for her. And we're seeing we're seeing Tiffany and Naomi battling on this structure right now. Naomi's on the top of this structure a little bit. Not all the way on top, but she is getting high up. Well, actually, looks like she's, Becky with the manhandle slam onto, the T-bone exploder into the cage on Tiffany Stratton. Oh, now she's got Tiffany's arm trapped through the cage structure, and she's got that disarmor on her. Looks like she's looking for a submission here. She does. Oh, Tiffany able to reach over and pull her hair still. What flexibility. Oh, here comes Liv now. Grabs her. Looks like she's looking for a German suplex. Oh, toe holds her into the buckles. And what's Liv doing here? Oh, stomps her down. Oh, here's Naomi on top of one of the pods. And, big blockbuster off the pod onto Liv. Oh, Stratton, though, goes for the pin, and she got her. Wow. So Naomi is eliminated. Naomi hits a big move, but while she was down, Tiffany snuck in the pin like any great heel would. You got to appreciate that. Well, maybe you don't. I do. Wow. Okay, so first person eliminated, Naomi. She is out of here. All right, and now we got another countdown clock beginning here. Who's it going to be, Bianca or Raquel? I'm going to go Raquel. I'll say that final big spot is for Bianca. Yeah, it's Raquel. Oh, she fires off on Becky. Firing off on Tiffany. Let's see here if she fires off on Liv as well. Running around, big power slam onto Tiffany Stratton. Stratton is down. I know someone told me they'd love to see Raquel win this. It would be interesting if we had a dark horse pick, somebody we weren't expecting. Oh, Raquel catches Becky, rams her into the cage structure. And again, Becky taking that cage structure twice. And now, a third time, Raquel does it. And, overhead fall away slam, shades of Scott Hall into the ring. Tiffany tries to jump on. And looks like they were looking for the power bomb here. They kind of messed up, but Raquel's got that power. And she's swinging Tiffany Stratton into the cage structure. Again into the cage structure and just drops her down. Raquel Rodriguez, the powerhouse. She is ruling the ring right now. You got to love it. She's got that big smile on her face. And she goes back to the ring, and she's looking at Liv. Oh, and they're firing. Look at that. Liv firing off here. Raquel with the power. Picks her up by the throat. Chokes her. Oh, Raquel swallows her up in the corner, but a big splash. No, Liv tries to go for the feet. Oh, Raquel uses the power just to toss her. Oh, but Liv catches Raquel coming in through the ropes. Oh, now again, Raquel using that structure to her advantage. Slamming poor little Liv Morgan around here. Looks like she's going to, suplex Liv into that structure and then just throws her back in the ring. Raquel Rodriguez putting on a powerful display here. Oh, okay. So she was going for the suplex. Becky clipped the leg from behind. Now Liv hits a jawbreaker. Raquel fires up. Oh, now Becky, Liv, And even looks like Tiffany Stratton are all working to trying to get rid of a triple pin. And they do not get it. Raquel kicks out. Raquel Rodriguez being booked really strong here. Nice to see because she is a big, strong lady. And I mean, you do got Jade Cargo in the background waiting to pop up here. And, you do want to have a big, strong first opponent for her. I think, again, you got to go Bianca. But, Raquel could be somebody you built up for that. She's got that size, that power. Now it looks like Tiffany Stratton taking over a little bit here. But all the ladies are down, actually. Now she's selling too. So everybody's down. And we got 15 seconds coming out. Well, we know who the last one is. It's got to be Bianca Belair. And, she's an outside. It's hard to say. I mean, as much as you got to favor Becky, if you're looking at other people who could win this, like Balor's one of those big names. And look, Tiffany's not ready to meet her. Oh, Belair ducks. And Belair hits her with that big right hand. Throws Tiffany into that structure. Oh, looks like she's closing the pod. Keeping Tiffany. Now she fires up against Becky. Bianca with these huge shoulder blocks. Drop kick. Catches Liv. Ooh. Gut buster. Bianca now looking to suplex Becky. Vertical. Holds her there. Still holding her there. You move on old school reference. That is shades of the British Bulldog. Davey Boy Smith. Nice kip up, too, by Bianca. I'll tell you, I don't know if there is a better athlete in wrestling right now than Bianca Belair. In terms of overall, with the power and the athleticism and the speed. Just tremendous. Oh, big spine buster on Tiffany Stratton. Bianca slapping her hands like all well in a hard day's work. Oh, here comes Raquel Rodriguez looking off to the side here. We're getting a face-off. The two powerful ladies. I don't think there's any question these would be the two strongest ladies in the match. Raquel Rodriguez and Bianca Belair. Raquel firing off. And now Bianca firing off. Trading right hands. Oh. Bianca tries to fly, body press, misses. Oh, wait a minute. Bianca rolls over. She's looking like she's picking up for that knockout. Oh. And Raquel fires off. Raquel gets over the top rope. And this is going back and forth. Oh, wow. Raquel just grabs Bianca Belair and pulls her outside with her. She's looking for a suplex into that structure. Ooh. Nope. Fires off. Oh, wow. Bianca counters with a DDT. A DDT on that structuring of the Elimination Chamber, that four. And now she's pulling Raquel back in. And Raquel still kicks out. Again, Raquel being built very strong here. She's kicked out of 3 women trying to pin her. Now Bianca hits a knockout move like that, and she still kicks out. You gotta love that Raquel Rodriguez is being booked this way. Makes you think that they got something for her maybe. Oh, Tiffany Stratton now interfering, and now it looks like she's might be trying to steal the pin here on Raquel, because Raquel's in a weakened state. She's tangled up on the ropes, and Tiffany is firing off on her. Wonder what she could be setting up here. Oh, Tiffany looking at Liv. Liv is on the top of one of the pods, and Raquel is resting on the turnbuckles here. Well, here comes. Oh, wow. It was kind of like a senton. Now Becky and Tiffany are fired. Well, they're not doing that. Actually, they're on top of the pod. Now they're firing off each other. These two fighting on top of the pod. Oh. Becky rams. Look like Becky's looking for that manhandle slam off the pod. Nope. Tiffany reverses. Oh, and Tiffany shoves her down to Raquel Rodriguez. All 3 women are down now. Out on the flooring of this structure, and Tiffany is on top of the pod. Folks, I've watched a lot of wrestling. I think we know what this means. Tiffany is going to be looking to do a little high-flying action off that pod. She's pointing to her wrist here. It's Tiffy time. She flies off. Whoa! Oh, she looked like she was just going for like a dive off a diving board here. Beautifully done. As she takes out all the women. We knew that was happening, didn't we, folks? All right, both. As we're back here, all women are out right now on the floor of this structure. Tiffany is rolled back in the ring, but she's got to put one. I said Raquel's been booked strong, but man, Tiffany Stratton has been booked real strong. Now her and Liv Morgan are going at it with the two powerhouse ladies down on the outside. Looks like one of these girls is hoping to. Oh, here we go. Tiffany catches Liv with the power, drops her down. Now going off the ropes. Oh, Liv Morgan is already up though. Looks like she was looking for that Tiffany Stratton moonsault. Oh, Liv with her finisher off the ropes. And she got her. Liv Morgan has eliminated Tiffany Stratton. We are now down to Liv Morgan, which the fans did not seem happy about. I think they were really enjoying Tiffany. Well, some fans don't. They didn't seem to realize, Tiffany Stratton was, they kind of earning her stripes here. But we still have 4 women in this. Raquel, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan. And wow, Raquel Rodriguez, she's back on top here again, too. She's looking for a power bomb on Belair. Ooh. Actually, just, oh my God. She just rammed Belair's face into the structure and then power bomb. Oh, choke slam on Liv, too. And now Raquel going up to the ropes, looking for like shades of a Vader bomb. Comes off with an elbow, though. Oh, look at that. She was going to pin Liv, and she left her arm open. Becky Lynch kicked her in the arm and now has Raquel in that disarmor, and there is nobody here to break this up. Raquel, she's been so strong so far, though. And, she tries to power out. Now Becky's turned it over. Look at that, Raquel trying to break the hand, selling the pain, but she's trying to break it. Now she's gotten up to her feet, though, still trapped in the arm. I gotta think she's looking for that big old power bomb. One arm power bomb out of the arm bar. They're in the ropes, though. Becky maybe trying to grab the ropes here. Oh, look at this. Liv getting involved. Also, oh, wow. Looks like Raquel's got them both. And double power bomb. Raquel Rodriguez. Lighting that. Oh, from behind. Belair possibly with the kiss of death here. The KOD. Boom. And she hits it. That has got to be it for Raquel. Nicely done. Belair gets the pin. All right. Wow. So we got it down now to 3. And I would have to say these were the 3 favorites going in. Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Becky Lynch. Again, I've been saying Becky Lynch from the get-go. I think you got to go with her. The story's there. I think it's her and Ripley all day. But, hey, right now, we're seeing these 3 women face off. You got to love it. Ooh, Belair. As Becky Becky makes Belair eat a knee. Now Belair just firing off on everybody. She's got Liv double chicken wing and slams her down. Oh, Becky with a big boot on Belair. Belair fires up. Becky's on ropes. Looks like Belair might be looking for a plus slam here. Press slam on. Oh, just drops her on Liv. Liv and Becky both down. Belair off the ropes. Oh, moonsault onto both ladies. Going for the pin. That does not work. Unless you're Roman Reigns, it doesn't seem to work. Roman is the only one who seems he can stack people up for a double pin. Or if you're enhancement talent, that seems to happen. All right. Right now, a little break. Bianca Belair kind of feeling herself here a little bit. Becky now firing off. Oh, in Belair, looking for that KOD, but Becky holding on. Ooh, suits her out. Oh, here comes Liv from behind. Backstabber. And kicks off Belair out here. Man, they've been going at it for a while. What time is it here? 5:44? I would say at least close to 40 minutes. Oh, right now, Belair with the power. This throws Liv Morgan into that structure. And then we got her and Becky now going at it. And Belair definitely, hey, storyline wise too, she is the freshest in this match. She came out last. So she should be the strongest. She naturally would be the strongest. She's the ST, right? Strongest, fastest. All right, she's got Becky. Whoa. Looks like she tried to use Becky as a weapon on Liv. Liv, though, firing off of those kicks. I like that. How often does this person look like an idiot there? You got someone on their shoulders and they're getting booted in the face. Liv does not let that happen to her. Oh, Liv. Interesting here. Oh, kicks Belair into the pod face first. And now all the ladies are down, but Liv's up first here. Liv Morgan. Could she pull this off? She's done it. Some crazy things. Money in the Bank. Beating Ronda Rousey. Here comes Becky Lynch now firing off. Looks like she may be going for like a dragon sleeper here. Whoa, nope. Looks like a reverse DDT and a DDT to Belair and Liv. Boom! On the structure. Nicely done. Belair in the ring, and she meets Becky at the top. She's not going to let Becky score that win. Becky gets slammed off the top rope.
Man, what the fuck are they doing to my people, Dave?
A tag, and it couldn't have come soon enough, Joe. My voice is feeling it.
How's it been going? What have I missed so far? I set an alarm. I tried waking up this early, and I still got up 45 minutes late.
No, that's all right. You have not missed anything so far. This is the first match. The Kabuki Warriors, no surprise, they did win the pre-show. Oh, you got that volume a little loud there, Joe. We don't want to get YouTube mad at us.
I've been trying to connect on a couple different ways. Haven't had it work. I like the look of the stadium. I like how the sun is setting in Australia, and it's barely risen. It's not even risen here. It's still dark as hell outside.
Oh, yeah, it's dark. All right. Becky is feeling this right now. She seems to control. I said everybody, Becky's the odds-on favorite, I think, going in here. It's funny, before you came on here, this is more between us, anyone's listening and appreciates this stuff. Basically, I don't know what fans we would have been getting, but I was like basically talking about like old school moves, like someone hit a spine buster. I was like, Iron Anderson had a hell of a spine buster. Probably all the new fans are watching this like, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, Dave really took this on because he was more in the time frame to start this live.
Yeah, this is not the earliest.
Yeah. Did you get it from the beginning of the show?
I went on at 4:58, 4:59.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I love the shot of Perth in the skyline behind the stadium. You've got a very WrestleMania type setup for everything here.
Yeah.
Have they given the capacity of the stadium at the moment?
I did not see it. It looks huge. Oh, so yeah, you're a couple seconds ahead of me. Okay, I was wondering what you were talking about. I'm like, what are you watching? Oh, yeah. All right, that's all right. Behind the curtain. That's happened. This is Peacock, folks. I knew my feed must be slightly behind because I was watching the countdown, and it's about a minute anyway. So, goddamn internet. Anyway, looks like Bianca Belair is going for that kiss of death on Liv Morgan. Morgan counters with the knees. And I got to think somebody's got to get pinned here soon. These ladies have been going at it, Joe.
Yeah, from what I've since I've turned it on, they've been going full force. But to me, it feels like the match is kind of winding down almost
I
with
mean,
the amount
it had
of
6 days.
action.
I'm gonna step out
I
for a
thought we
second.
had a pin there, but
I'm gonna let you
that
take
was
over
Liv
for a minute,
Morgan
Joe.
winning.
Take a much needed hydration drink. I did hit our sponsor. Was not one of our shining moments. It was still 4:59 when I did that, but I got the commercial, brother.
Oh, are you talking about Game Up Hard Hydration?
Oh man.
5 a.m. Game Up Hard Hydration. They are our new sponsor. It's way too early to be doing an ad read on this, but 110 calories, same alcohol as a beer, 1 gram. One of my favorite flavors is the lemon lime. I'm going to take a sip here just to help the voice. I bet Dave wishes he had one to help
I
his
do.
voice in that 50
I'm-
plus minutes of talking.
I do. I could have used some game up. I could use some W. I ran a Black Bart ad in Russellville too already. Don't think I did it.
Oh, wow.
they got their props in the beginning. Oh, Becky
Thank
Lynch
you to
with the
anybody
win.
watching this at this hour. It is super early, at least where we're watching. So if you're
Oh,
watching live, let us know where you're watching from.
yeah. Also, we missed the finish here. So Becky Lynch ran over and looks like she got caught with both knees. I don't know, but okay, what happened here? Liv rolls up Belair with a quick roll up. Oh, and then Becky immediately manhandle slams her. And Becky Lynch wins, and she's going on, kind of like we predicted and saw coming. But hey, nicely done. And we got to think that's going to set up Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, unless we're shocked as hell later and Nia Jax pulls this off.
That's one thing about this event. I'm very surprised that they've kept I'm surprised that Nia Jax got that title match because to me, I mean, there's really no question of who's winning in the main event. And I don't know what she won to set this up, but it just there's no question later.
She did beat Becky Lynch a few weeks ago. She's beaten Becky Lynch. She's not lost since coming back. She beat Raquel Rodriguez. So she's been built as this monster that you think she would have been built. But I think at the end of the day, even though I've heard people say this is probably the best run she's had, I think we just all know she's been built for this moment because she's not gonna beat Ripley. It's like I'll tell you this. I said this before you came on. I'm not predicting this, but because Ripley is such the focal point for this show, I could see that match closing. You know, I wouldn't close with it because I think we all know who's going to win. But Rhea Ripley is just such the star in that element here right now.
Yeah, and a couple things I want to bring up during that commercial break. You had the WWE World, the new fan experience, 4 days of, WrestleMania type things to take in. It's called Access. It's been called Access, but they've really done a good job of building up that WWE experience. And then WWE 2K24, you've got Dusty Rhodes, Dashing Cody Rhodes, and superstar Billy Graham is finally making his way to WWE 2K24.
Wow. So the superstar, because he's part of that story with Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, you get to finally finish the story. We got Bayley being featured here in a video. The perverts in the comments are going to have some comments about Bayley, as they always will on YouTube.
Yeah, Bayley. Big all over. That still happened on Facebook, too. Don't worry. The Bayley perverts are.
Oh, really? They kicked me off Facebook and the dirtiness is still on there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Joe, I'm going to step out for a second again because I actually have a work-related text that I just got on a mutual friend of ours who definitely won't be working on the dryer this week. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, all right. I will be taking it over. We got a Bayley commercial here. Still trying to connect on the Fire Stick. That ain't happening. So thank you to everyone joining us early. We took a chance on deciding to do a live watch along because, you know, I guess it's really the American privilege we have that we're complaining about the hours that this pay-per-view is going, yet in other countries they regularly have to make way for these type of time frames. So it's nothing for us having to get up early. I set an alarm and I'm still late for this. How is Elimination Chamber matching up to everybody's expectations? Are you watching this in a time zone that this is conducive to getting up early?
All right.
I've got my snacks in front of me. I've got Monster Energy. I've got AG1. I've even got some cheese and crackers here just to wake up with.
Shout out to AG1. You real ones, you know.
AG1 and a little dubby just so I can take it down faster. If it wasn't 5 a.m., this game up hard hydration would be going down quicker, but
my buddy,
you guys got me up before the sun today.
My buddy sent me a text and he's delirious basically. He's not, he doesn't want to be up right now. He had to get up early like this yesterday too.
Kind of the bread hours though, like you guys get up at odd hours, and it's one of those things about being in an industry that stocks shelves that you got to get there before the people get to the stores. And we got a good little damage control video here.
Yeah, the story of Bailey and damage control, and you know, this is one thing I will say with Triple H. You know, we've definitely seen longer storytelling. You know, this stuff with damage control has been building for what? Like, I mean, they got together SummerSlam last year, and then we started seeing the cracks and stuff like the beginning of this year, maybe even sooner. Or
we've got a commercial running now for WWE back on A&E.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Dallas Page, Bulldog, Randy Orton. It's going to be, I'm kind of excited for this.
Yeah, these are shows that I don't get like too wild for on A&E, but we got Dark Side of the Ring returning. We got these biographies returning.
Yeah.
Anytime there's more wrestling stories in the news cycle, it's great.
See a beautiful perf there.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I ain't here.
No.
What's what the time is over there right now?
The show started, I believe, at 6 p.m. So I think they might be 7 by now. The sun is setting. It's not even risen over here. I like the look of this stadium. Oh, we've got the show the match I've been waiting for is the Undisputed Tag Team. I like it's Undisputed Tag Team Championships. I haven't heard it called that in a minute.
So we picked an upset for this, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to have these guys win the title. I mean, given that there was a title change on the pre-show.
No, there wasn't.
Small chance these guys aren't winning, but look how much better Pete Dunne looks as Pete Dunne. He made the Butch character work, much like Dave made the first hour of this broadcast work, but it's so much better when you're able to be back in that comfortable situation.
Yes. When you have a partner. A partner you can trust.
That we old Catch Republic right now, me and Dave.
Do a little correction though, Joey. I think you said there was a tag. There was no tag title change in the pre-show. The Kabuki Warriors successfully defended.
They were the title change.
Yes, they were. So
those what the fuck I know. All right, New Catch Republic taking those titles. I woke up 20 minutes ago. Don't judge me, people.
We move on. That's what we do.
Even Dunne, like, I'm gonna say, like, as Butch, Pete Dunne still had that look on his face.
Right.
But it's something about putting the mouth guard back in, taking off the stupid newspaper hat, and just putting him back with Tyler Bate, because even when you had Trent Seven in the company and it was Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, and Tyler Bate, they were a great Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
They were a great team. But these guys just look so right together.
Yeah, Tyler Bate, first ever NXT UK champion. Pete Dunne won that title from him. Tyler Bate also was the NXT UK tag champion with Trent Seven, as you mentioned, and they won the NXT tag titles itself too. So, I'd really like to see these two win main roster gold. And I don't know, look at the face on Tyler Bate. He looks like he's really taking this in. This is a huge moment for him.
Yeah, when you think about him winning that UK championship at, I believe he was 19.
Yeah. Unbelievable. NXT UK, for those who never watched it, they had some bangers on there. You got to realize, Gunther was having 40-minute matches with Tyler Bate and Ilya Dragunov, the matches him and Gunther had, match of the year candidates.
Noam Dar and that Heritage Cup that is still in NXT had that start in NXT UK. And that was one thing from this week's NXT that I wanted to bring up, but there wasn't a spot in the live broadcast this week, is you saw Charlie Dempsey come in and look at that Heritage Cup. And that's another pick is, William Regal's son getting that rise in regular NXT now.
Yeah, who's been doing work with All Japan Pro Wrestling too. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, start of the year, there's been a lot of good in WWE. For all the bad that's been in the news.
Yeah.
That bad has allowed a lot of good to come in, because the way things have been done in WWE over the years. I'm actually reading a great book. It's called Ringmaster by Abraham Josephine Reisman, about the rise of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And you almost see how these things that happened years ago became institutional, and you don't get to be the biggest in wrestling by making small moves.
No. What a crazy character.
It's great that the past year, though, with Vince getting out of WWE, we've seen a bigger growth in what they can do.
And even during this show, there was a small little production thing where they were showing people in the chamber, but before they'd have that overhead view where it was just they'd focus on one person. This was almost a shot of the stadium, and they had all three women that were still in the chamber, a little clicker thing. There's these little production things you're just seeing that are different, and that's got to be with Kevin Dunne gone. Which how long was Kevin Dunne around for?
Basically, it's wild to think that it's been the whole run of WWE TV. Sometimes it doesn't even click what we're getting, because it's been so ingrained in us to see one thing, and now we're seeing these. Right? What's that?
Since the Hogan era, for sure, Kevin Dunne's been there.
Oh yeah, the whole time. Before the Hogan era, it was his father, Dennis Dunne. And
no kidding.
Yeah, so that's why.
I never knew that. So Dennis and Vince McMahon Sr. were
that's the reason that I've heard it attributed to Kevin about grabbing some film out of a burning car. And I believe that was his father, Dennis Dunne. So that is why our whole run of WWE TV, his son was basically promised a job, and he did a job. We've got friends that hate the camera work and what was passed down.
Sure.
But I mean, if you think about it, that's just what a lot of people knew. And now I believe the person now came from ESPN.
Uh-huh.
And I see Dominic cutting.
Yeah.
Great little promo before the match.
It just,
when you talk about how young Tyler Bate is, think about how young Dominic is in the game, and getting comfortable. And getting off to a start now.
I heard someone mention too that quietly how good he's gotten, like even in the ring, and yeah, no doubt. Like, look at the fact that they're letting him cut this promo right now. Like, he's out there getting the heat for these guys, and they just eliminate it, which is going to get a big pop, And now we're starting off, and we got Pete Dunne going off over there on Damian Priest and Tyler Bate and Finn Balor starting off in the ring. I don't think you can start off with better. Exploder by Tyler Bate here. I really like Tyler Bate. Well, he goes for that pin on Finn. Finn
yeah, Tyler Bate was a guy that had a great start in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if it was Vince or what, but he kind of seemed to like blend into things. Like, he was still on top of NXT UK, but then as NXT UK kind of dissolved, he was there.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem like as much of a standout as he could have been. And now back with Pete Dunne, this is a team you definitely like seeing that joint manipulation. I'm a little bit ahead of
That's all right.
Dave here.
That's all right. I like it. When I see Pete working the arm, and now I'm at where you're at with that joint manipulation, but just working the arm and the way he had Finn Balor down here with the shoulder and everything like that, kind of almost, we don't talk about it, kind of gives me an Anderson vibe a little bit.
Yeah, for a second there when you were talking about Pete, I thought you were talking about Pete working the butter bread and swirls, but the real swirl is from Tyler Bate coming in the ring here. Side headlock.
I'm still watching Pete Dunne doing some brilliant arm work here. Here comes Tyler on my line. I love it. Wow. These two, man, they just remind me of kind of an old school team, the way they work together.
Yeah, British strong style. Before they hit WWE, they were big on the indies. Or not big on the indies. I say the indies, but friend of the show, Scott, and I made it to a couple WrestleManias, and these guys would be on Progress shows. They would be on other shows.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoy when Tyler Bate had the headlock on, and he's taking his foot and ramming it into his head. It's such a little move, but it's like this. I really appreciate the simple but effective stuff that a lot of British wrestlers do.
Now, have you turned up the volume enough to hear what the crowd sounds like in Australia? Are they a vocal crowd?
Yeah. So usually we have people in the comments kind of telling us, but unfortunately, a lot of our usual crew is not here today because this is pretty early.
I bet Randy's up. He's not watching us, but he's up. He's tending the crops, milking the cows, doing whatever farmers do at this hour.
I got my man Pete delivering bread. He left me a song that he just made up about delivering bread. That's what that was, by the way. He's out of it. He's fucked up. I'm trying to convince him to watch the UFC Fight Night with me tonight. The other half of TKO will be in Mexico tonight for a 10 o'clock Fight Night card.
Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to mention, Shane Gillis is returning to SNL tonight. Fired by SNL, makes it on his own. 11:30. Will I watch it? Probably fucking not if I'm up at this hour.
Aren't SNL episodes on Hulu the next day?
They are. I believe they're on Hulu. I think they are on Peacock as well.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
But Shane Gillis, that's just such a big return to SNL that
good for him.
I would like to watch it, but like you said, it is on the other end of today. And we are dedicated to Elimination Chamber. Of course the hashtag is WWE Chamber. Somebody's going to go into YouTube and modify some hashtags right now.
Good for them. WWE Chamber. That's what they're looking up. They ain't looking up Elimination Chamber. That might lead you to something else.
Well, we brought it up, but have you talked about R-Truth landing in another country yet?
Oh yeah, Austria. Fucking guy. I love R-Truth, man.
We're gonna leave it there, folks. But you do the math.
R-Truth. I have to say though, like R-Truth, like you
Glad that
talk
we
about
have
a
such a
survivor.
viewership at such an early time.
People are getting up early, or
Oh,
different
yeah,
places
keep
around the
going.
world.
Former NWA champ.
Ooh.
But yeah, R-Truth deep into his career, reinventing himself. And that man doesn't have to be a champion to be a focal point of the company. He's just on point with
Yeah.
his comedy, makes the most of whatever couple seconds of fame he gets at a time, and just keeps adding it up. Great addition to WWE.
It's so funny though. Like I say, he's such a survivor because I mean, talk about a guy that you think would have got let go during the Vince era, but no, he found a way to make Vince even happy and survive. And now he's doing it with Hunter, who's clear has a different presentation. But R-Truth, again, he finds a way to make his comedy and his stick work. And he's in such great shape too. I mean, so if he needs to have a match, he can. But it's not like he's had a career where he's taking a ton of bumps either. He's like 50-something years old right now. Might have to look that up later. R-Truth. But anyway, start talking about truth. I'm spacing out here. All right, we got.
I mean, it's that time of day. You can see the sky is starting to get darker over the stadium here. It's barely getting light outside of our windows, but we are here killing it. Elimination Chamber. They've been doing a lot too. I've been seeing at night they've had press events over there. They've had the official press conference. They're going big for Australia. And I like that WWE is making these global moves where they'll go somewhere else and they'll do it big. We saw it start with the takeover events, and then you got to wonder, did Vince put a stop to that? What was it? But now that they're a part of TKO, it looks like they're starting to expand what they're doing as a company.
We see Pete Dunne taking control here too. He's got Judgment Day on the outside laid out, and man, I don't know. I'm really actually. It's kind of funny. We usually get so focused in, and again, maybe Joe, like what you talked about, maybe because I'm spacing out here because it's so early at different times, but I'm enjoying this match.
Yeah, I've noticed it too. That like I haven't been 100% focused on it, but every time I look over at the screen, the action is just top notch.
Yeah. Oh, nice double team. Clothesline, German suplex combo. And Balor kicks out.
I mean, eventually we're going to have to look at those gimmicks like the Max Dupree and the Butches and I'm going to call it the tail end of Vince's creative, because we think about all the characters that Vince put people in that worked, but then you got to think about the ones that didn't work. And Butch that was a hard fit. I think like people really wanted to resist that name change. And I mean, you saw it with Max Dupree too. These guys, and it's weird because they got put into a gimmick that didn't work for them, and then they didn't seem themselves.
But then you got a guy like Gunther. I just call him Gunther.
Gunther made it work. Yeah, that was a surprising one.
Yeah. I do think that Gunther benefited, though, that Vince had left WWE when he got there. And, they were doing that name already. And it was just like, okay. And they just rolled with it. And he just keeps on putting great matches. And now he's on this historic Intercontinental title reign that I think he's over 600-something days now.
Well, Gunther was one of those lucky ones that it was like a name change only in name.
Right.
Because essentially he got to keep everything else about the character. Maybe they changed like the color of the jacket.
I think he
still stayed essentially himself.
He's so good at what he does too. And like That's not to knock some of these other performers we're talking about, but like Gunther, I said it before, any era, any promotion, that guy works. You know, put him in Bill Watts' Mid-South Wrestling, he's going to work. Put him back in the 1950s, he's going to work. You know, he's a hell of a wrestler. It's incredible. You know,
yeah, let Farmer Burns try and grab a hold on Gunther. Let's see what Joe Stecker's got for Gunther.
Farmer Burns, baby. I love it.
That's for AJ. He's not even awake right now, and we're hitting him with gold.
I don't even know if he knows we're doing this because he missed the show yesterday because we had some. I'm not even going to blame AJ for that. We had some issues where we just ended up going on early. So I don't think AJ knows we made a last-second call to do this, but I don't think he would have wanted any part of this.
No, it's one of those unique things, and it was funny because I was going to come here. I mean, I complained about the time a little bit, but you got people in the UK saying this is what happens for every pay-per-view. And if this only happens for one or two, that's fine. I mean, look at, where was it? Money in the Bank was from London on July 4th of last year. That was the same day we were at the Grizzled Great get-together that may or may not be on our YouTube channel. But that was one that we couldn't watch because of the time. And this one, we decided to get in there and try it. Oh, boy. I'm at a point where it looks like Dom has got something going on.
Oh, boy. I see. I just watched Tyler Bate on the outside, Pete Dunne. And Dom's putting the foot on the rope.
Of course, now. without the sound, I have no idea what's going on, but something's up. Oh, I'm about to do the wrestling math now. I like the specific Elimination Chamber shirts with Rhea Ripley on it that Dom is wearing. I'm sure those are gonna sell big over there. Plus, those I Was There shirts are always huge.
So, I don't know if this is where you're doing the math where Dom is getting ready to get kicked out of here.
I thought for sure Pete Dunne was going to knock him off the apron into Tyler Bate on the outside.
I wonder if JD will come out still, though. There is another member. Unless he didn't make the trip. Couldn't get his visa.
Like friend of the show, Josh Lucas. Did he decide to get his passport or not? We may never know.
So I'm dark now. Okay. That happened only for a few seconds. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to bring it up, but I figured it was a snafu. Sorry if we're not our usual on-point selves. I'm finding myself here struggling to find things to talk about in between matches because
you should see me read our sponsor game up. I apologize. Like, it's a seltzer, Gatorade, bunch of drinks. Here, let the commercial explain this.
Well, if you saw the live show yesterday, we had trouble with it since I didn't talk about them. I had the can in my hand this morning and struggled with the game upgrade. This is what happened when you have us do homework when we're tired.
Oh, man.
But Game Up has been a great sponsor. If you guys haven't found it, at least in the Jewett City area, I know they have it at La Bella too for sure.
Oh, I'm seeing that beautiful, beautiful skyline that Joe talked about. That's what I'm walking at now. Not sure why we're looking at this in the middle of a match, though. Where's Kevin Dunn when we need him?
Well, I bet they're doing it because you're getting the tail end of that sunset and you're getting that last little bit of gold from it. You're not going to get it in the stadium because that sun is starting to dip below the horizon, but you got those beautiful skies. That's one thing about Australia. Never been there, but everything I've seen from the pictures makes it look very pretty. If you're watching us live, have you been to Australia? Reach out in the comment section. We need a lifeline. Stat, where are you? Are you awake?
Where's Sass? Where's Oscar? Where's the usual crew? Oh, man.
There with my dog and cat, probably still sleeping at this moment.
I'm watching Damian Priest pull down the straps right now on my end here.
Another thing we didn't bring up on the live show, but they're getting close to it. I believe at the moment, Okada's last match has happened today.
Oh,
If you watched New Japan yesterday, spoiler alert, Nick Nemeth won a title. Matt Riddle won a title.
you want to hear another spoiler? I know you're watching TNA later.
Did West Side Gun get in the ring?
I don't know about that, but Mustafa Ali won the X Division Championship to close the show.
Okay, that's not surprising given that match was in the main event slot and you also had Moose defending his title.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of me that wants to check out that TNA event. I'm going to say pay-per-view, but it's more kind of almost like one of their in their house events.
Double team move on Damian Priest. Ooh. And Priest kicks out, of course. I like the color scheme of Tower Bate too, where he's got these little gold wrestling boots on and the green and white tights. It's just such a throwback.
Before you specified what the color scheme was, I was about to say Vince did too.
All right. I don't know where we're at, but I'm watching Tower Bate and Pete Dunne motivate each other as they go to town on Damian Priest with right hands. Should be a count of 5, though, ref. Come on. What are we doing here? What's the logic? Let's go. Get one of those guys out of there.
I know if this were New Heights Wrestling, Ref Hunter Hendricks would be right on things. Shout out to New Heights Wrestling.
Nice double team moves here. Tower Bate and Pete Dunne looking like they're going for the gold. However, the way this match is being structured right now, I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling like it's Damian.
No.
I think I can see what you're owing about here. Double choke slam, and Finn Balor gets tagged in, which leads the coup de grace, which means I'm about to be sad, and I am. The Judgment Day are the
Speaking of tagging in, Dave, I'm going to let you do the heavy lifting first.
No problem. Of course, he does that right when I have a tickle in my throat. He didn't know that, though. Judgment Day are still the tag team champions, baby. Damian Priest and Finn Balor won't be denied. Hell of a match. I wanted to see the upset, but I just had a feeling that, like as much as I like Bate and Dunne, they have not been main roster built up yet, but Tyler Bate on the floor, you see in the agony, and see that. Speaking of agony, Joe's going through some agony right now. As he got a little bit of that
tickle in my throat as well.
He got a little bit of that morning. I'm talking that AGI. Here we go, though. Right now, the tag team champions still Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and it's gotta wonder. They've had a great reign as tag team champions so far, with a minor interruption with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, but they got those titles back.
Even in that loss, though, I think Bate and Dunne looked really good. It did a good job of reestablishing them as a team.
And it might be better in the long run, because if they keep them strong as a team and they win the titles in the future, they're going to be more over, and people are going to want to see them really get these championships.
All right, we've had 2 title defenses. That means that women's title's changing hands tonight, right?
I don't think so. No, I think we're going to get no championships change hands tonight. We're setting up, our WrestleMania matches here. And maybe we'll get a surprise on that Grayson Waller effect. They did tape something last night, too, where Roman Reigns called Grayson Waller in the locker room and said, "I got something to say to you, but it's for your ears only." And then the cameras left. So we'll see.
Talking about building up this. Oh, is this Crown Jewel? Is this that WWE World over in Saudi Arabia? Or WWE Experience?
Oh, yeah, I see here. There you are. Yeah, I think this is that thing in Saudi Arabia. WWE Experience. All right, y'all. I'm going to back out here for a second.
All right, I'm watching a commercial for the A&E show. Does anybody watch these A&E, either the Most Wanted Treasures or the biographies? Okay, it looks like it's, Rivals. See, I don't even watch this stuff on A&E, so I didn't even know what these shows were.
Yeah,
I like that there's more wrestling programming, but it's just, the reality shows, things like that. Even some of those like biography type shows I'm not as into.
The Rivals. Did you ever see that one?
No.
So they have a group of like wrestlers, and they just discuss the actual rivalry and what was going on behind the scenes a little bit and how those guys were. And like I saw one panel, it was like Freddie Prinze Jr., Kevin Owens, and JBL. And JBL and Kevin Owens get heated with each other in a respectful way, but there's a real debate going on there. And Freddie Prinze Jr. talked about that in his podcast, how good Kevin Owens is, that he can work in that system and go at it with somebody, but he knows how to do it without offending people.
Logan Paul getting that prime in there.
Yeah, good for him, man. What a life, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it is the real hustle. Like, went from YouTuber child star to now getting in the ring. And of the two Paul brothers, who do you think has legitimized themselves more in sports? Because they both set themselves up as big figures, but who's looked at more serious? Is it Jake or is it Logan Paul?
I think Jake is more serious in terms because he's had more boxing matches and like legit boxing matches, so I'll call them. But Logan did have that fight with Floyd where it looked like Floyd carried him, So, but I mean, I don't think that when you think like legit boxing, I don't think anyone really thinks the Paul brothers per se. But I would say Jake is considered slightly better boxer here. As Michael Cole was reading something on the air, I don't know what that was.
It looks like it's going to be for Motionless in White. I believe they're the song, and we are about to get the Grayson Waller Effect, so this is going to be fun for me and Dave, or Dave and myself, Dave and I, if you want to get on our grammar. It's not even 6:30 a.m., so if you want to get on us about how we speaking, that's on you.
Maybe one of us. Maybe one of us should step out for this moment and actually play it with the volume. We can report
it. Right now, they're going over the big press conference in Las Vegas, which was a big setup to WrestleMania. It almost, like, the way they've been talking about it, it feels like it was like a mini pay-per-view.
Yeah. Speaking of mini pay-per-views, a little sidebar thing here too. Again, talking about production earlier. This week when Cody Rhodes wrestled Drew McIntyre on the first match of Raw, they did a video for that match right before it aired to make it feel special. And it felt almost like what you would do for a pay-per-view. So again, just little promotional things, little things of production that I've enjoyed lately. And we see, this video package about the press conference. Roman, Rock, the bloodline. It's very fascinating.
Yeah, it's really something considering The Rock being inserted into this picture, how people reacted to it at first, and then how the situation's been morphing since then.
Right. Like, what's fascinating is that, like I've heard someone say before, it might have been Sam Roberts, but they talked about how when you go sometimes and there's this divide, you'll hear like, we want Cody, we want Rock, we want. But with this, it's like it's been a legit like split at different times, depending where you're at, and it's muffled, almost like it's hard to actually hear or understand what they're actually saying, but you can just feel the noise, which I like. I like there's that little bit of chaotic excitement where we don't actually know necessarily who people are going for in that arena, and it's different in every arena. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you've probably got the people that want to cheer for Rock, but then they're trying to almost put Rock, it seems like, with the bloodline, and it's different to see a heel Rock come back.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when all you want to do is cheer this character that hasn't been in WWE in so long.
I'll tell you, for me, it's just an interesting time because you have also one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, on your program. He's just been announced he's going to be on SmackDown this week again, too. And you got Roman Reigns, who's had the title for close to 4 years now. I mean, this is, I never thought we'd see something like this again in our lifetime. And then you got Cody Rhodes, what a story that is, right? Leaving, changing the wrestling landscape basically on the independent scene and then eventually AEW, then going back and now getting ready for his second WrestleMania main event in a row. Like, this is wild.
Yeah, we're seeing the return of long-term title reigns, long-term storytelling.
It's crazy, Joe.
It's funny because yeah, what's up?
I
was going to say, the
crazy.
common knock on WWE has been, you'll hear people say WWE's been shit for years. They fell off. And a year ago, I would have agreed with you. But they've really done a lot to slowly start turning things around. That I don't think that common knock that WWE isn't what it used to be holds as much water anymore.
No. They've definitely, the long-term storytelling has been great. I was gonna say, on a personal note, though, people might not realize this, is that we were told we have 2 tickets for SmackDown, which is the week before WrestleMania. I wonder if we're gonna get to see The Rock.
Oh wow, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
No, who would have thought we'd go?
You're blowing my mind here at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah. Who would have thought at this point in our lives we could be on a live wrestling show? We'd be watching The Rock. Not to say that The Rock will stop off at Mohegan Sun. I don't know. He probably most likely would skip that week and be there the following week, I'm thinking. But hey, boy can hope.
See, it's funny. I look at it a different way. I figure it's a casino. You would almost, how would The Rock not be there?
I mean, and I would think maybe he's going to make the last 2 weeks, for sure.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
All this talk about Rhea Ripley being the main event of this match, I don't think as much has been said about Grayson Waller getting a featured spot. Of course, because it's like a talk show type segment.
Yeah.
I mean, this has got to feel big for him being able to do this in his home country.
For sure.
Oh, no. I still don't understand this Australian custom, and you'll see in a second.
The shoey? I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm guessing that's what we're going with here. Oh, that's
now.
Tied
what's
to
the key? Does it have to be a new shoe?
That's tied to a
probably helps. Is it? Okay, I was wondering.
From the UFC, yeah. So he's very known for this. And here they are drinking a shoe and stuff like that. Yeah, look at that. Wow, the crowd celebrating. Tai Tuivasa, UFC heavyweight contender. He is famous for doing these shoeies and really kind of brought it to the forefront. So
Grayson Waller and Rhea Ripley did it during some press events.
Yeah. That's fun.
The one thing I will say I like about this new era of WWE is when they go to a country, they seem to kind of try and bring in as much culture from it as possible.
Yeah. Well, when they were in Puerto Rico last year too, I remember like that show felt really special. Like they really talked about a lot of the people like Carlos Colon and everything like that. And you know, that's one thing I definitely like about these international shows. There you go. See the crowd fired up. Interesting, just because these two are the heels, but they're getting a babyface reaction. But we're about to have two of the biggest baby faces in the company come out. Oh, somebody's got a sign that says Peter Maivia. How funny is that?
I saw Die Rocky Die out there.
One thing I like when Rock is talking at that press conference, it's a little subtle thing, but I liked it when he's pointing at Cody and he's like, and you're talking about his, you know, family. You're talking about my family. Then he says, when you talk about my ancestors, and he does this little thing where he slaps his chest and he's like, talking about my ancestors. You know, that little thing in his voice. I like that he turns it up a little bit a notch as a heel, right? Or the intensity now as a performer. Like, okay, now I'm getting pissed, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the history of the WWF, the Samoans have been there through the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Afa and Sika, they go back. God, Afa and Sika, like, at least the Bob Backlund era for sure.
Yeah, probably. I would say, like, if we're aware of them in the Backlund era, they probably came in, like, just before that.
Possibly. Backlund was champ for 6 years. So, you know.
Yeah,
and
stretching
Sika,
from the late 70s to the early 80s.
yeah, Sika did have even some matches with Hogan. So, you know, so who's to say? But yeah, I mean, that family, you know, the history of that family going back to Peter Maivia, you know, incredible. You know, that's one thing I haven't really seen. I would love to see is some wrestling from Hawaii with the promotion when, you know, Maivia is promoted in Hawaii and stuff like that. I'd like to see some of those matches. I heard they were very intense promotion.
Yeah, I believe there's some of that on YouTube. I haven't searched out 50th State Wrestling too much.
Mm.
You know, you see stuff pop up in documentaries and things like that.
And this crowd does appear to be singing along with Seth Rollins. So even though Grayson Waller is obviously, you know, huge, how important, you know, if you ever wonder, like, how important is music in wrestling? Is Seth on the run right now without his song?
No, I think it helped. And it also helps that he's got Velveteen Dreams glasses on, too.
You say so. Hey, you know, it's just interesting sometimes. I think the presentation, right? Like what people cheer for, you know, this song. And then, like, you know, you go back.
I mean, Cody's got the same thing with his song, too.
Who's that?
Cody, he's got the sing along with his.
Whoa, yeah, for sure.
But with Cody, he was big coming back. So with Seth, I mean, I feel like the music has been part of what's catapulted him to this new run.
Yeah, it's very interesting the success Cody has had in WWE. Like, to me, given how toxic, especially at the time, it felt like AEW and WWE fans were against each other, I thought it was a real strong possibility that WWE fans might not even have welcomed him back that strong. I'm like, whatever, you're not one of us. But no, just the opposite. It was like the sun had returned, you know?
Yeah, it's real weird, the tribalism between fans. It's like WWE fans can't seem to enjoy AEW. AEW can't seem to enjoy WWE.
Right.
And it's almost like you want to pick your side and be right.
Right.
But I mean, both companies do things that are enjoyable in different ways.
Absolutely. Watch AEW, watch WWE, watch TNA if you get a chance. Watch MLW, watch
NWA.
Yeah. Look at this weekend too. Because the WWE's been on fire right now and stuff, it allowed other people to kind of go on and do other things. Like Nick Nemeth and Matt Riddle are holding titles in New Japan, right? Mustafa Ali closed the show out last night and won the X Division title for TNA. So it's just nice to see people moving and going to different places. And Matt Cardona showed it for the last couple of years.
Come on, bud. Yeah, it's really people making the most of their opportunities, it seems. And it's not like at one point where WWE was the place to be, and then if you were outside of it, you were succeeding to some degree. Now it's like you can be outside of WWE and have a meaningful career.
Sure. You can make money, get attention for yourself. It's really good, But man, it's an interesting time because there's no doubt, though, WWE is hotter than it's ever been, too, at the same token. So, it'll be real interesting to see, especially as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania and The Rock keeps making more of these appearances, and they do things like what kind of news is this going to create? I feel like WrestleMania 40 is already poised to be the biggest box office WrestleMania ever.
Yeah, Vince McMahon really kind of built it to the spectacle it was, but I feel like Hunter's gonna make his own mark with this one, and just do it in a better, I say better modern way, but I think it's really gonna be something.
Yeah, and I think you can't underestimate what Nick Khan has been, as it turns out to be. This guy coming out of nowhere, and now the president of WWE, and he had a legit fandom of pro wrestling, and so to see him working and to make this brand even bigger, and some of the stuff he talks about, getting them on Netflix, and it's insanity.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the management structure. If you look at Vince McMahon back in the day, this was a family business to him. It's debatable whether he was a fan of pro wrestling or not.
Sure.
But, the McMahons looked at wrestling as a business, a product they put out there. This is the first time in WWF history that you've got Triple H, a guy who is a fan, more running things. Nick Khan. And think of how ridiculous it was that Vince McMahon tried running this, even though he had a team around him, he tried making it like an army of one at the top. Now you've got a group dedicated to making this product better. And I think we've been seeing those changes over the past year.
Let's see this crowd, this ruckus, wild crowd.
I was about to say, I'm waiting where I'm at. I'm waiting for Cody to start speaking, and it just looks like he's taking in the surroundings. I'm starting to feel this early hour, Dave, especially with this lull where we're having the Grayson Waller effect to talk about.
Yeah, it's tough because we can't hear it too. So fascinating time here. I'm going to mute my mic a little bit, Joe. I'll let you carry this a little bit, but I will be listening and I will chime in. I'm going to try to see if I can hear some of this.
All right. Yeah, this is an important part of the show to kind of more hear what they're talking about, because a lot of what we've been watching in the ring, we're talking about in-ring stuff, but now this is a segment, which is odd for a premium live event, but it's important in the way that I really think they're going to bring out The Rock and Roman. I think that's the only reason you put this on a show, because yes, you want to feature the Australian talent and give him a chance to do something on the show, but how can you not be bringing out the Rock and Roman? If they don't, I will be very surprised. If you're watching this live, let us know how you're enjoying the show so far. Where are you watching from? If we have any international watchers, it would be great to see if you're watching in Australia, let us know in the comments.
So I'm just gonna pop in here real quick, and I will pop back out and listen to this. So far, the thing Seth has talked about is he's actually announced that he's medically cleared to wrestle. Like a day or two away, he said he'll be medically cleared to wrestle. So we are already announcing that, and we are seeing we're getting ready for that. So Grayson Waller was trying to want to wrestle.
So you're telling me he's teaming with Bobby Roode?
Yes, the Cleared brothers. All right, I'll be back.
That was some news that we didn't bring up on the live show, but Bobby Roode medically cleared to return. But from what I was reading, it doesn't sound like he's necessarily driven to it, which you can't blame these guys after being in the ring for so long. And, you know, maybe he's gotten a chance to age it and he likes it a little more. There's that Rocky Sucks sign that we saw earlier. You really got this WrestleMania type setup inside of the stadium. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about these international shows is when you take the show international, a lot of the times they're fitting in, you know, a football stadium. And I'm not talking American football. I think when you get to Saudi Arabia, you're getting like cricket stadiums. And you're getting stadiums that can fill a lot of people. So you're getting this WrestleMania type feel for multiple live events during the year. Shaking up my athletic greens here, not a sponsor, but a way that the man called Dave and producer Joe like to kick off our days. As you can see outside my window here, the sun's starting to rise in Jewett City. Crowd seems to be eating up this segment. I gotta say, this is a real mood killer for this time in the morning now. I mean, maybe watching, and we'll find out when Dave comes back, if this is really like pushing things along, but this just kind of seems like a lull in things right now. But it could also be new. It's not too often you see these segments during live events. I mean, and now that they're premium live events and not pay-per-views as much, I can see more of these getting their way worked in because it's almost like a different version of like a Raw or a SmackDown. I mean, tonight we've had women's tag team match, men's tag team match, women's elimination chamber. It's one thing that I think is the big criticism with it used to be a WWE criticism, but now AEW is kind of taking that mantle of really long pay-per-views. WWE has gotten better about not feeling the need to fill that whole pay-per-view time frame. It used to be pay-per-view starts at 8, it would go to midnight, 12:30. Now you can conceivably be done by 10:30, 11. Get 5 matches in a show and not feel cheated. And I like AEW pay-per-views. They'll give you some good matches, but it just feels like they stack them so big that by the end of the night, you've had 7, 8, 9 matches. And that wears you out a little bit as a viewer. Yeah, these Seth Rollins glasses really look like a throwback to the Velveteen Dream setup. Guy who recently made his return to wrestling on an independent level with a appearance, and it did not. There's been a mixed bag. I believe I saw Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret really celebrating the return and the chance that company took, and then female wrestlers that have been the victims of assault have not found it to be a good return. So I was a fan of the Velveteen Dream when he was in NXT, but as with any of these, controversies that pop up. Sorry, I'm getting all caught up in the words here. Trying to read what's going on. I see Dave is throwing his headphones back on, but while we're watching this clip, I'm going to run another quick commercial for our sponsor, Game Up Hard Hydration.
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up at drinkgameup.com or at your nearest liquor store.
Seeing some action in the ring here. Makes sense that Cody and Seth are looking big here. Austin Theory taking all the damage.
Yeah, so basically what happened was Cody just wanted to make it clear that he wants to rock one-on-one. So he's got night 2 of WrestleMania, or he didn't say that. He said he's got Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but before WrestleMania, he's wide open. So anytime, any place, he wants to go one-on-one with The Rock. Seth Rollins.
Mohegan Sun.
I hope so. My God. If we got Rock versus Cody at Mohegan Sun, I'd be all in that motherfucker. But listen, so Seth basically just said he had his back. So, there's been a lot of talk that we're getting that tag match, and that's going to be a tag match, but that's not what they set up. Right now it's Cody calling out Rock one-on-one, and Seth just saying he'll be there and have his back. So it sounds like we could get Cody versus Rock, but maybe Seth in his corner.
We could see it. I mean, it could change as it gets closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got the NXT live event from WrestleMania weekend getting announced.
And
could be another Game Up Hard Hydration live watch along.
Could be. We could be doing like 3 goddamn watch alongs that weekend.
WrestleMania weekend, always a big weekend for wrestling fans and especially wrestling content creators. Like, pay attention to some of your bets. Post Wrestling does a really good WrestleMania week coverage usually. It's funny, you think about people being wrestling fans and getting to cover wrestling, but it's during like a WrestleMania week that it really feels like work. I mean, anybody that podcasts or writes knows that covering wrestling is work.
I wonder if some of our regular fans that would tune into these two, like maybe it got up now and like, oh shit, are actually avoiding us because they don't want to get spoilers. You know what I mean? Like if I wasn't, doing this, I'd be trying to avoid spoilers and I'd be getting up and trying to watch it right now,
100%. And that, it was something we talked about going into this because it's important to do it live. But I also feel like if you're watching it later, once this is done, we're going to put this out on the audio platform. So, and Dave, if you want to make a post on Facebook, since some of us can't, just let people know. Like, if you're going to watch this later in the day, put us on your second screen. Put us on in your headphones.
Yeah.
Alternate commentary track.
I did share this with Facebook and X, by the way, even though I think we are on X already, but I did that already as well too. And our Facebook page, Joe. I'm still representing us, just so you know.
At least one of us can. If you're on Facebook, use that hashtag Free Producer Joe. Let them know they fucked up.
Joe, is it too late?
Think about all the nasty stuff you see on Facebook. I shared our own MMA podcast to our own Facebook group, which I'm the administrator of. Somehow I shut my own studio down, yet the studio's still open and nobody's running it.
Oh shit. Joe, is it possible?
It's going to be probably our fastest and loosest live watch along, just with the pure delirium we have of being up at this hour.
Is it possible to share this on Instagram, Joe, already?
Fuck.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Nah, we'll talk about it off there. That's my little window you got.
That's my answer, folks.
It can still be shared to Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, we still have the ability. We can't do it now, but
okay, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, that's fine. I ain't no worry about it. Oh man. Well, yeah, I say we gotta have only one match left. See Drew McIntyre there, Joe.
Everybody
gotta be the WWE Men's Elimination Chamber coming up here, brother. We're seeing Kevin Owens get ready, tape those wrists up. LA Knight, Joe's personal favorite, getting ready to come out here. Look at that. We're seeing him do that. He cut a little he cut the last interview too before they went to the show.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good way to, end the kickoff and get into the main show. Mm-hmm. We love
Randy Orton was the last one.
I can't tell you what a relief it's going to be after this men's chamber match.
I would say, Joe, I mean, I don't think this is an exaggeration. Like, I'm okay. I'm used to this kind of stuff anyway, but I will even say for me, because it's different, right? I'm not getting up and delivering bread, obviously. I'm getting up and having to, talk a lot. This has probably been, because of it's strictly the time, our most challenging watch-along so far.
Yeah, and I mean, Worker Fans Podcast, we are always up to challenges, and we've noticed such a response to these watch-alongs, and they're fun to do. It's a different lane of wrestling YouTube. Usually, we've got a lot more fan interaction, so that's probably why it feels different too. Because we're in the comments, answering comments, talking about everything. Now it's just it's all on us.
Well, Joe also usually streams directly to Facebook with these too, but that wasn't
used to.
So
if you're a fan and if you follow us and you've noticed me not on Facebook, it's been since my birthday. They shut me down. There's been a lot less interaction, but we're still talking about Wrestle Black Bart. We're still talking about Drink Game Up. We're putting it on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever the other social medias we use are.
All right.
I feel like I could honestly almost go back to bed after this for a little bit.
Yeah, I may start some laundry up and see something. Pete did tell me, friend of the show yesterday, that because he's up this early too. He says, I understand. He says, you're going to be up early too. He says, I think mine's a little more involved. No offense. He says, I won't be watching TV. That's a nice little shot at me, but at the same time, it's like, Man, it's a different challenge. Like, for me personally, just getting up and talking this early.
It's funny. There's one part of me that wants to agree with that and be like, yeah, it is watch. You are just getting up to watch a predetermined sport.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're trying to comment on it. You're trying to be entertaining for an audience. And it's hard to, it's weird because you find out through podcasting, and some podcasts do it better than others. You want to be entertaining with the talking. You want to act like you've been there. You want to act like you've prepared. You don't want to like trip over your words. So it's tough to get up and put together a video for other people to watch.
But
I felt bad when I woke up and I saw that Dave had been doing it for 30 to 40 minutes without me, because these watch-alongs, they're not easy with another person, but imagine trying to do it solo. And it's like, what do you talk about? Do you call the action in the ring? Do you talk about all the things around the event?
I mean,
that's why a lot of good commentary teams, you got two people. You can, not only for the play-by-play and the color, but you can also bounce ideas between people. When you've got two different voices, two different minds contributing to it, there's different things that each person could, mention and contribute.
I take my play fighting very seriously, folks. Any wrestling fans tuning in right now? They call it play fighting. Goddamn right.
Well, also, we do wrestling commentary, so we know, not at a huge degree, but we know what, I don't even know how to put it, how important talking can be to this. And it's a business in the end too. So to some degree, we are on the outskirts of it, even if we are, that ancillary content that talks about the big event.
All right, they're going over the chamber rules here. And what a day so far for me. I got to start this watch along by myself covering a chamber match, and now I got a partner at the end of it all, and we're doing a chamber match. So Kevin Owens coming out here first, so we know he's not going to start this then. You want to take a guess who's going to start this, Joseph?
Orton and Lashley.
Orton and Lashley. That's interesting. I'm going to go...
Lashley's going to be the next one out, is my guess, though, now that I've said that.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go Orton and... Actually, I'm going to go LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. Yeah.
Well,
I think we're going to need some technicians in there. But I also feel like LA Knight, because I think he's not going to win, even though I want him to. So I think he's going to get the rub. I think he'll go like coast to coast. He'll be one of the last people standing here.
Kevin Owens getting the crowd pumped up here.
Owens would have been
real emotion.
I would have started with, actually, honestly. Like, he's capable of going despite, what he looks like. I like the shaking the camera thing there. I know people don't always like that, but like when Owens is like shaking the structure, I thought that was pretty good.
Well, it's nice when it's like a minor touch and not like a regular thing they do.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And they didn't even do it. They only did that one point there when it came out, so that's pretty good.
I know, I really like that too. It just adds to the visual of things, makes it feel bigger. And that's one thing, I mean, with Vince and Kevin Dunne in power for so long, you get comfortable doing things. And, I think you kind of lose that visionary edge. Things that might have worked at one point for you might not work later on. So it's nice to see, of course, Lashley's the next one out. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it's nice to see things evolve and just a different presentation get put on.
Yeah, I felt pretty confident when the women were coming out. I actually predicted it'd be Becky and Naomi. Once I saw, I think Liv was one of the first people to come out and stuff. And I said, okay. I said, we're going to want some work, people that can work going long. But with this one, there's so many. Like I wouldn't have gone with Lashley just because he's a bigger guy. I think, he'll be there towards the end to hit some big move spots, You see his arm area and everything taped up. That was an angle last night on SmackDown. Unless it's he has a legit injury too, but it did an angle last night on SmackDown where Karrion Kross actually smacked the chair on the back of his arm onto the post. So
okay.
So they did a little.
Yeah, I didn't watch that pre-taped SmackDown. Was it good? Was there anything of note that I should go and check out?
No, I mean that was pretty much what I just told you. That I mean it was Office of Pain beating the Street Profits, and then Kross took that shot with the chair. And the other thing I said too was Roman had called Grayson Waller, backstage to talk to him, and basically said I had something to say to you, but it's for you only, which didn't really seem to play a part into that talk segment at all. So entertaining, but not noteworthy. Not nothing where you have to go back and watch.
Yeah, now that The Rock and Roman didn't come out for that segment, I'm very surprised the Grayson Waller Effect made it onto the show. But
yeah,
hometown person.
We almost didn't get a Chamber. Pirates.
Really? Oh yeah, because it took the Chamber a while to make it over there.
So they were going to go to like the Suez Canal or something, but pirates were threatening them, so they ended up having to I think fly it to Florida and then drive it to California or something. And then it got on a ship to flown to Australia and then on a ship to Perth or something. It was wild.
What fucking year is it that pirates are going to hold up international travel?
That is they're going to steal the Elimination Chamber. I saw a meme, one of those great memes, from that movie with the pirates there with Tom Hanks, and someone's looking at Triple H, and it's that skinny African American guy who's like, "I am your Chamber now." Chamber.
Yeah, what are you gonna do if you steal this thing? Are you gonna set it up on your ship?
Yeah. It's not like you can sell that shit. You're gonna draw people to you. They're gonna figure out, they got the Chamber. We know where they're at. What is the master plan here? Yeah, very strange. So Logan Paul's coming out here, so he will not be starting either. Which I get,
and I will be back in one.
About Logan Paul being kind of natural for this. At the end of the day, he is inexperienced, so it's not somebody that I would want to start off this match to kind of dictate the pace. But yeah, interesting here. So Logan Paul not starting, Bobby Lashley's not starting, Kevin Owens isn't starting. So again, my pick was Drew McIntyre and LA Knight, but we will see who comes out next. You see Logan Paul putting the gum in that bottle of Prime there. I wonder if that was one of Logan Paul's entourage. I wonder if we'll see a member of Logan Paul's entourage get involved. Kevin Owens headbutting the Chamber coming after Paul, and Paul selling it like he's crazy. I love the intensity of Kevin Owens.
It seems like with a lot of Logan Paul's appearances, there have been entourage members that make themselves seen. So I think we get somebody to some degree.
Like in real life, I think he's a cocky guy who I think on some level, self-confidence, I think he thinks he could probably handle some people, but I'm sure he would want no part of Bobby Lashley. Like that would be a guy I would I'd say I'd probably want to leave him the fuck alone. So
yeah, actually, I was listening to Cornette's podcast this week, and he had an interesting story about Bobby Lashley giving him whiplash because he didn't know how to give a body slam. And then it was very interesting because Cornette goes through the actual physical placements of what you have to do for a body slam as somebody that's going up for one.
Yeah.
And he talks about Bobby Lashley when he started giving them just was picking people up and slamming them down, and nobody nobody corrected him because they didn't know like how to tell him about it. So that's the kind of strength you're getting with Lashley.
That's incredible. And I just want to say, Randy Orton is coming out next. And my prediction coming through, it will be LA Knight and Drew McIntyre starting us off. I mean, they could have started off with Orton, you know? He's capable of going all the way too, obviously. So, talk about your guys too. Another guy that's been getting big reactions since coming back. And honestly, a guy I felt personally that had gotten stale over the years. I think this time off of the injury is a blessing in disguise. I feel Randy Orton has a freshness to his character that hasn't been there in a long, long time. And people are reacting huge to Randy right now.
Yeah, he's stepping into that spot that like a Cena could have held before him. And if you think about it, like, remember, Randy returned at the Survivor Series, the same Survivor Series that CM Punk came back.
Yes.
And you could almost argue that the Punk return kind of overshadowed Randy's.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at it now, with Punk being out injured and seeing the run Randy's been on since then, it's arguable that Randy might have had the bigger return, like,
sure,
has a bigger impact return.
So I saw a story where Randy was quoted talking about that, about Punk debuting the same night he was returning. And he said, or Punk returning as well, he said that he found out just literally a couple days before. And he said that the old him would have been pissed. The old him would have been felt like he was getting overshadowed. And he said it might have. He said, but I think it ended up being just a great night for the fans. He says, I think they reacted huge for my return. And then obviously in Chicago, they were really blowing up for Punk. And he says, personally, I'm actually proud of myself. I feel like I've had personal growth where I handled it well. And I could have been sour about it and it could have ruined it, but it would have been me ruining it. And I'm glad I didn't let that happen.
It's overcoming ego, right?
Right.
The man called Dave will tell you behind the scenes, there's certain times where, I'll let ego get in the way of things. And it's like, you feel a certain way about other opportunities opening up for people when, when you look at it, like, you get the opportunities when they're right for you. And, also it comes with age and experience too. You realize that life isn't just about one person. It's about how groups of people come together and interact. And it's great to see that growth from Randy Orton because he's not somebody you would expect maybe to take that as well.
Right. He's had his struggles in the beginning. And, it's an unfortunate thing sometimes, but it also can be fortunate that, Randy got into business so, not so he got in so young, but he got to the top so young. And, he was already in the spotlight so young. So people saw Randy screwing up and messing up at a very early age and all the stuff's out there. But, now he's at a point in his life where he's just a totally different human being. He's more a family man. He looks at this as a business, as a job, but also his legacy. And, you talk about, as I tell you all that, and I'm watching Drew McIntyre come out there, right? Here's another guy who got thrusted into spotlight at a very early age, wasn't ready for it, and damn, what a return, right? This guy made, right? Like he says, they came asking him back. And here he is now at this point in his career. He's been a world champion already. He's main evented WrestleMania in one of the weirdest, main events of all time. No people because of what the world was going through. But like you just look at him as a character, as a performer now, like who he is, like he comes off authentic. And as a bad guy, he's that bad. This is what I was telling you earlier, about the graphics too. If you see there, a little thing they're doing, I really enjoy that. But yeah, Drew's just been on fire for me, and he's another guy that could get lost right now. And everybody's so hot, but he's not. Like every minutes they give him, he shines.
I noticed that little production thing where you see each person's graphic of their face, and then you got the little camera shot of them in their cell. It's the little things that really add to the broadcast.
For sure. For sure. And this is, we're at 2 hours and 14 minutes now, just watch along. And I have a feeling this is going to be at least a 40-something minute match here. So we should be hitting that 3-hour mark this time. Baby.
And it's funny because I would ask if it's 3 hours, and it probably, I would think if this was occurring at a normal time for us, I would say it doesn't feel like 3 hours. But for us, I think we're feeling every bit of this time.
Yeah, it's just a time thing. That's the most challenging thing, I would say, with this watch along compared to other ones we've done. Just the time, and we knew this was a possibility. We knew because of the time and everything like that, we might not get the interaction that we've had in past with these, but that's fine. Again, anybody tuning in for the first time that maybe enjoys, Dave mentioning like spine busters by Iron Anderson and Ron Simmons or Brad Armstrong and Russian leg sweeps. Like,
I can't believe I forgot one match graphic here because we have one match after this.
What, there is?
We still got the women's title match.
Holy shit! I told you they could do that.
I forgot about it too. I just made myself so sad thinking this is going to be another hour plus.
I can't believe it. They are closing with that. Wow. That is a testament to what they think of Rhea Ripley and her in Australia.
I know. I was ready to get back into bed. I'm like, wait a minute. Where's Rhea Ripley? Why did you do this to us?
Oh, my God. Yeah, wow. Yeah, Joe, I'm not trying to knock you, but that's actually what also made me forget. I started looking at it and I saw the match graphic and I'm like, oh, yeah, the men's, we're done. And then I put it up. So when you just said that, I'm like, oh, Joe, I got the men's graphic up a minute ago. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I knew I was missing one last night, but somebody wanted to get up early for this and was like, we have to get to bed. We have to work in the morning.
That's funny. Wow. Oh, no. I love the intensity of LA Knight here, by the way. Talking that little shit to Drew McIntyre, who walks by him, standing on top of the pod here with Orton. I mean, we've seen other people stand on the pod too, but I'm just saying there's something about the intensity of LA Knight. You can see the crowd reacting to him. This is good to see. This is another product of WWE, what it is now. A guy like LA Knight would not have succeeded in the Vince era, and we know that because we've seen it. We've seen him given other stuff. But with Triple H, he's getting that chance to shine.
I know, and this is every bit the LA Knight that we saw from NWA.
Yeah. See the NWA, Impact, you name it. Yeah. This is Eli Drake. This is Sean Rickner. This is who this guy is.
Dave, I'm going to jump out a little bit because we're going to figure out this banner situation.
Do what you got to do, brother. Joe taking care of production elements. I'm actually, man, if you've watched this in the beginning, you watched me at the beginning, you can see how much I was struggling. And, part of that was probably being by myself. But I think it was being by myself and being up so early and starting this. Like now, I feel pretty good about this here. Look at this. All right, we are trading back and forth right hands. Drew McIntyre and LA Knight going at it in the chamber to open it up. And, man, I love to see this matchup here. I love to see Drew and LA Knight, who wrestled on SmackDown last night, by the way, which there was a ton of interference at the end of it. Basically, everybody hitting their finisher. Bobby Lashley getting involved, Logan Paul getting involved. But in the end, it looked like Drew had laid everybody out and was standing tall. And then, boom, Randy Orton, who hadn't been out there, sneaks in, RKO. And, traditionally, the last man standing on a wrestling show the day before is not the one who's going to win. He usually has the momentum. So I don't think Randy's going to pull this off. But then again, maybe he will. That this is a new WWE where they've been building certain people strong as they go in, and sometimes they do win. So, and I think I did make a prediction here that Randy Orton would pull this off somehow. So, you know what? Forget what I said. I think Randy Orton's going to pull this off still. So, oh man, I cannot believe that we're finishing off with the WWE Women's Championship. I mean, I can believe it because I said it was a possibility, but I just feel like it's just wild to think, we're having these Elimination Chamber matches and we're ending it with Rhea Ripley against Jax. There's no way I see Jax winning that now, though. Like, not that I did before, but man, oh man. Wow. Oh, look at this. Look at Drew McIntyre throwing his hands like he's going to hit the go to sleep. Oh, setting up LA Knight. Wow. Talk about long-term storytelling. Like, we're already building up to a McIntyre Punk match here. Punk, I don't think it's going to be after 6 8 months. LA Knight, of course, counters. A little bit of a hot shot maneuver there. Oh, wow. Okay, sling. Little sunset flip into the knees on the back. Nicely done. LA Knight with a low drop kick on Drew. And LA Knight's cooking here. Look at that. Nice dive over the ropes and rams Drew McIntyre into the structure here. Wow. LA Knight. I'll tell you what, I love the intensity we're seeing here and some of the athleticism. He's not a guy, like he's a great promo guy. You know, he's solid in the ring, but he's not a guy I think of when I think of these like gimmick type chamber, cage type structures. But boy, he's doing great here as he's ramming the head of Drew into the chamber where Logan Paul is sitting in. And Logan Paul's just smiling, laughing, you know, because Logan Paul is that bad guy, right? He doesn't care about Drew. He doesn't care about LA Knight. He just wants this championship for himself. He wants more gold. He wants to be U.S. champion, go on to the main event, and take Seth Rollins' title as well. And obviously, Logan Paul and Seth Rollins have history. They actually wrestled each other at last year's WrestleMania, where Seth Paul got the win over Logan Paul. Seth Rollins got the win over Logan Paul. Excuse me. But, wow. Look at this now. Here we go. Well, LA Knight ramming the head of Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens thing. And Kevin Owens just looks like he wants it back. He's just like happy. Kevin Owens is here for the violence. You gotta love this. Oh, man. So, is Randy gonna get some of this too? Is Drew going to Randy's chamber? This could be a thing here. I don't think I've ever seen a spot like this, and I love it because it's simple but effective. Okay, we're going back to Kevin Owens. Owens' chamber is getting some work here. Good God. Oh, here we go. The countdown here. Let's see. Look at LA Knight looking around. All right, who's coming in? Here we go. Oh, there's the lights. Look, there was a little delay in that countdown. Like we saw the countdown almost too early. All right, I'm going to make a prediction here. Kevin Owens. Never mind. I'm not going to make anything. It's Kevin Owens. I was thinking Kevin, but I was trying to think of like who else is like a heel. There's really no solid other heel in this match other than Drew, which is kind of funny. That was similar with the women's elimination chamber that Tiffany Stratton was like the one real solid heel. Wow, Kevin Owens with a choke slam on LA Knight and a senton. Kevin Owens is rolling right here. My man got the graphic ready for the next match. We did find out we will be having one more match. By God, the women are closing the show, and
that's one thing. Thanks for bringing it back to that. If you want to look back at the history of women's wrestling and how it's got such kind of like a checkered past, it's amazing to see what the WWE has done to push it to prominence. Right. In like recent years, having women of color headline WrestleMania, having women's matches. I'm not gonna say regularly main event like big events, but they've been getting that spot more often than they previously had.
And again, that goes back to Triple H's booking and who he is too. If you go back to NXT back in 2014, 2015, when it came on the network, we started building Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, all these women, and they started having featured matches where Banks and Bayley even main evented those takeovers. I think they might have been the first two women to main event NXT takeover one time. I know they stole the show one year where they did it in main event, but they had the greatest match. But I think the follow-up, they did an Iron Woman match, which was the main event.
Yeah, great book about women's wrestling, Sisterhood of the Squared Circle, I believe is the name. If it's not, I will be sure to correct myself on this coming week's episode. But it's wild because, women's wrestling was once in the same spot as, I'm going to use the word midget wrestling.
Yeah, I'm interested in
And,
those.
it was like a sideshow attraction, something Lou Thesz didn't want on a regular show. But now it's, risen to prominence. And even Little People Wrestling, they have their own, federation. And they're able to be featured on their own and not as a sideshow. So that's great to see.
I pointed this out earlier in the first chamber. I love it when people keep going for pins. I like that aspect of the match there. And Kevin Owens mocking Randy Orton a little bit. Randy just kind of shrugging his shoulders, like, yeah, it's whatever. So I like that. So interested now. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Kevin wants Logan Paul. I love that we're maintaining that feud. I've been saying I didn't want to see LA Knight and Logan Paul at WrestleMania, but Kevin Owens is making me still want to see his feud with Logan Paul continue because Kevin Owens is just that good. He has that intensity about him. Kevin Owens
There's a part of me, Dave, that's got to be wondering what people are waking up thinking right now. Like, just checking social media, going a live watch along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody's got him out there right now. There's other parts of the
I
market.
normally wouldn't even be up at this time, so I'd be sleeping right through this.
There's other parts of the market we got to.
I'm glad I woke up for it because it's been an exciting event. I'm gonna want to go back and watch that Pete Dunne tag match with the sound on, but
it's like I'm watching LA Knight and Kevin Owens go for a double suplex on Drew McIntyre here.
I love the Slim Jim clock.
Joseph. A little bit. I mean, so Joe knows about who's about to come out here next. I'll make a prediction. It's gonna be Logan Paul, Joseph. That's my prediction. You can tell me if I'm right. I'm gonna know in about a second here, actually.
I am just seeing who's coming out now.
Okay. So, yeah, there was like a false countdown there or something. I don't know.
Well, it's weird. You got the countdown, and then you have the old thing where they do the thing with the lights where they want to make. You would think you would combine them both, but why not make this show longer? We've got nothing but time.
Bobby Lashley firing off. Bobby was the other guy I was thinking, but I thought maybe bring a heel out here right now still. And I guess Bobby can kind of be a heel or a face. It's whatever. So who's coming out last? Got to be Randy Orton then, I'd imagine.
I'm going to guess Logan Paul.
Okay, I say Randy
because he's going to continue antagonizing, and it's going to be that thing where the chamber opens, and then he's
all five of them.
Yeah, like he's done enough damage because he's been doing nothing but talking shit from what it looks like.
Yeah, I like it. Oh, big belly to belly overthrow, big belly to belly thrown overhead by Drew McIntyre on Lashley. Drew is such a great power wrestler too. Kind of underrated with that, but he's such a big guy, but to like just be throwing Lashley around and look believable, like, man.
I was about to talk about how much TNA did for Drew, like getting him ready for his comeback.
But Drew and Bobby.
You think about Lashley as well, had a big run in TNA.
And LA Knight.
LA Knight as well, but it was around that. I'm trying to remember when the big time that Lashley and Drew were in there because they were awesome in that company, but they just felt like such big fish in such a little pond. It was during those years when Impact was really going through it and they became like Global Force for a minute.
Yeah.
I really liked on their TV when they were featuring matches from different countries. And these two were a real standout on that programming. So it's great to see them on this big stage.
Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight had strong showings in TNA for years and years. And then you got a guy like Kevin Owens, who was a big time Ring of Honor guy for years and years, right? And then you got Randy Orton, who basically has been in the WWE system his whole career. And then you got Logan Paul, a social media guy who's only known the WWE system recently. So it's just fascinating. Everybody's got their own journey, right?
Yeah, and And the way you talked about that right now really made me think of how, like, people look at wrestling as, like, kind of this goofy pastime. But then if you get into it, like, as a fan, you realize, like, how varied the landscape can be. And just like anything, how there's I want to say there's good wrestling and there's bad wrestling, but there's just varying degrees of wrestling. You know, MLW is a company that I don't think gets enough credit, and some people might look at it as an indie. But they just put something up on YouTube last week. There was a great promo battle between their former champion Alex Kane and the incoming AJ Francis.
Yeah.
I meant to tell you about that. I meant to tell Dave about that off air, but another great thing where just a lot of good companies doing a lot of good work out there.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of great talent. And, you know, we talked about earlier too, guys like Mustafa Ali winning the X Division title in TNA. Matt Riddle and Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, are holding champions for New Japan Pro Wrestling after this weekend. But, you know, MLW is pulling in talent from New Japan. Kojima is now their champion, right? And then you have like Mystico coming in from, you know, CMML and being the middleweight champion, feuding with Rocky Romero, and they have their own homegrown talent like Alex Kane still, and people like Davey Boy Smith Jr. there. So it's MLW is doing good things too.
Dave, I would be remiss not to mention one of the hottest up and coming indies in the Florida area. New Heights Wrestling is hitting another level, and if you've been paying attention to their YouTube, T Gaines recently put out a video aiming at that women's champion. New Heights Wrestling, who Dave and I do commentary for, recently crowned their first women's champion with Emily Locke winning that honor. And T Gaines is setting her sights on Emily Locke. So could that be coming up at Bound and Determined on April 20th?
April 20th, baby. If you're in that Florida area,
some might say that T Gaines wants all the smoke.
He wants it. And Randy Orton did come in. So, Joe, your theory of Logan Paul being the odd man out is looking pretty good. He'll definitely be the last guy. Will he be greeted by everybody? I hope so.
I like Randy Orton's out here looking like a Caucasian rock.
Big Randy Orton there. I'm watching Randy Orton DDT Kevin Owens on this structure, and I'm watching Randy Orton sell his back. Hope he's selling anyway. And Kevin Owens, and man, like, you talk about.
I like it because Randy Orton's selling his back, but we're out here selling Game Up Hard Hydration.
You know we are, baby. You know we are. We're out here trying to put that work in. Early morning, we were working already, folks. We've been up for, well, some of us have. 2.5 hours.
I tried getting up early. My phone was dead. I was surprised that both my alarms didn't go off.
We're at daylight now here, though, Joe. There's daylight outside.
I see it. It looks beautiful outside of Jewett City, Connecticut.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, there we go. Bobby Lashley hitting spears on everybody. Big bad Bobby Lashley. This guy, I think he was like 10-2 in MMA or something like that. You know, he's a legit bad dude, man. You know, collegiate wrestler, wrestled, I think, while in the Navy too. Just a big, tough, badass man. And then here we see Drew McIntyre taking over.
That's one thing that doesn't get talked about a ton with American wrestling is the wrestlers that decide to do MMA too. I know it's brought up more with Jake Hager because he has an MMA record, but it's not as pronounced as Lashley. So when people bring up Hager in MMA, it's kind of in a joking manner. But
Right.
if you look at it's no in Japanese wrestling, it's known as Inokiism, where Inoki really wanted his wrestlers to appear legitimate so they would get put in MMA fights. And wrestlers like Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ is doing fine. He is just not awake. Dave was going to be up for this, so Dave took the helm. I decided to get up early. Thank you for joining us in the comments. How surprised were you to see a live watch along?
Yeah, Randy. Did you know we were gonna be up? Because we
But
is.
getting back to, we only announced this. Oh, we announced it on the live show. Now that I think about it, but we cut it up. We put it on different platforms, just trying to do something different. But talking about the history of wrestlers in MMA, Toru Yano was another one who had. You see him as a joke wrestler, but had legitimate fights, and typically that MMA doesn't work out well for wrestlers. But Lashley is one of those standouts, and you'll see it in a minute, but Kevin Owens going hard on Logan Paul.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Logan's coming out, and so Kevin met Logan right there. Yeah, so we've been building up, obviously, in this match where they want to get, especially Kevin Owens wants to get his hands on Logan Paul, and it looks like Logan Paul had maybe wrote some stuff on there. Kevin sucks.
I was seeing him. It looks like he was like breathing under the glass and writing, but then it almost looks like he has a marker in there because it looks like there's a marker on the window.
It does, yeah. So Owens is lighting up Logan Paul. Oh man!
So, given the intensity of this attack, what's the stipulation for the match between these two at WrestleMania?
Well, right. If they're gonna be wrestling at WrestleMania, then yeah, there has to be a stipulation added. Man, I don't know what they'll do because a lot of times you want to make it something that's like, related to storyline, but and it wouldn't make sense, but I'd like to see a Texas death match.
Me personally, 2 out of 3 falls match or like an Iron Man match, but with the intensity of these two fighting, it feels like it's going to be a last man standing Texas death match.
Yeah, Philly street fight in Philadelphia.
Hopefully the fans respond better to that match than they do to Santa Claus. Shout out to that famous Bill Burr clip.
Oh man. Philadelphia known for being a rough crowd. Yeah, they've been tough on people throughout the years. Oh man. But yeah, Kevin Owens' intensity is always there. That's one thing consistent about him. Kevin Owens,
that's one thing. Kevin breaking through that plexiglass, and whenever somebody gets knocked through that plexiglass, does that hurt the Elimination Chamber for you? Because to me, that brings up how flimsy the protection is. Does it take away from the chamber for you at all?
Not for me. No, it's just a spot people like to do. Like people love the table spots too, right? It's just, is what it is. I'll tell you what I don't care for. If someone saw this, it might get us some heat, but it's whatever. I'm just gonna say,
Dave, do I got to hit the mute button? Are you gonna say something inflammatory?
But I'll just say it like this: I don't like what I've seen in some small promotions, and there's a few of them, so I'm not singling it out, where there's an over reliance on the same prop over and over again. A cookie sheet, for example, where you're just going to repeatedly use cookie sheets over and over again. I get it. You work the crowd. And by the way, in these matches that I saw, they got great crowd reaction. So I totally get why they do it. But me, because you're asking me about like the chambers and stuff like that, when I'm watching that as a fan, I go, can't we mix it up? Can't you bring something else in there? You know what I mean? Certain other promotions too. We may have seen the kendo sticks overused a little bit in certain different forms, But so that sometimes should take it out of me. But for the most part, it's fine.
I'm gonna defend the cookie sheet, and I'm gonna do it based on something we talked to a friend of the show, Scott, about, and it hurts me to bring it up, but I mean, it's public knowledge apparently now that Bob Backlund is apparently not doing well due to CTE.
Oh,
and that's from the years
last week. Go ahead.
You're finally seeing that kick. That was a beautiful kick. I didn't want to mention it in the moment, but given how performers of past years have responded to weapons being used in the ring, I'm cool with cookie sheets. Like, it all depends on how you attack your opponent with it and if you're doing that damage. And I just wanted to give that shout out to Bob Backlund because since we heard that he wasn't doing well, it's kind of bothered me, not only because it's the one interview I really wanted to get, but if you're a fan of wrestling books, Bob Backlund's book, hands down, one of the best wrestling books I've ever read. The way it not only details his journey, it talks about the way that the WWF ran once upon a time. And there's great Napoleon Hill quotes at the beginning of each chapter. And Napoleon Hill pioneered positive mental, PMA. Kevin Gill talked about it. And it was something that Bob Backlund was all about. So I just wanted to give that shout out to Backlund.
I'm watching LA Knight jump up here for a superplex on Drew. And as you're
what the
you
fuck?
deserve respect to Bob Backlund, one of the all-time greats. A guy who Roman Reigns still hasn't beaten his record. I watched LA Knight just taking people to task here, and I'm surprised. Whoa!
Yep.
Joseph,
You just caught up.
Yeah, AJ Styles is working over LA Knight with a chair.
AJ Strange Brew ain't here. AJ Styles is here.
The phenomenal one.
AJ Stroke still in bed, but he's pissed off nonetheless.
TNA greats. You talk about TNA Hall of Famers and legends. AJ Styles. Wow. So apparently we must be setting up a LA Knight AJ Styles match for WrestleMania. You can't go wrong with that if you're LA Knight, right? I mean, talk about people you can work with. Oh. Looks like Joseph must already know. We're going for possibly a Styles clash on that chair.
Somebody's gotten good about shutting the fuck up about what they see seconds before.
Good on him. I would not have done that. So you have permission to go ahead. I like it. Wow, LA Knight is out.
I mean, I reacted when AJ got in the ring there, but luckily I was midway through my Backlund discussion there, and I actually got to see Bob Backlund live, and he gave a discussion at a local library here, and he needed somebody to display the chicken wing on, and I was legitimately nervous in that moment. Because, I mean, he played crazy, so you don't know what to expect. And I will say I was not hurt, but when Backlund has his hands on you, you know it. And then luckily he was even good enough to, because I told him, I'm like, my brother is gonna, I regret that I don't have a picture of this for my brother. So Backlund offers to put it on me again in the middle of Slater Library. And I'm going to back up from the mic here because I'm going to attempt to approximate how Backlund did it. Has me in the chicken wing, and he just goes, "Sell it! Sell it!" And it was one of the greatest moments of fandom I had, but I was scared there for a second.
Yeah, so it's funny. One of the kids I'm friends with, Tim Hartford, years ago, worked at Canterbury Better Value, and Backlund happened to be there on my day off. And Tim texted me, he's like, "How did you take the day off of all days?" And Backlund come in, and he got Backlund to put him in a chicken wing. And then Backlund just started yelling, "It's Mr. Backlund!" He put him in there. And the meat cutter, who was halfway on the other side of the store, was like, "Oh my God, customers were turning around." Like, so Bob just turns it on, man. Like, he'll do that in the middle of a store or whatever, he didn't care.
Talking about turning it on, I'm going to share a story from another friend, and I'm going to keep him anonymous because you're going to find out why in a second. But apparently at some point, I don't know if Bob Backlund sold heating oil or he did something where he had a business card.
Yeah.
So my buddy, when he was in college, got a hold of Bob Backlund's business card and prank called him and apparently just got him fired up. So if you can imagine what we saw in Better Value or in Slater Library, imagine getting a legitimate angry response out of Bob Backlund.
better be happy he was not near Mr. Backlund. I'm sure he knew better than do that, though.
Oh, yeah. There's a clear reason. Like, I mean, Bob Backlund apparently I'm paraphrasing here, but I believe he was the wrestling coach at Bacon Academy in Colchester.
He was. I remember reading articles about that in the newspaper. So that gives you an idea of like dating ourselves here about, stuff with Bob. But yeah, Bob, I mean, he had the record for that Harvard step test. And man, as far as I knew, even as well a few years ago, like he was still like in just amazing shape, especially for his age. So
friend of the show, Scott, and I traveled to a WrestleMania weekend, and we happened to be on the same flight out of Hartford as, maybe not the same flight, but we were in the airport at the same time as Mr. Backlund, and he was in sweats working out in the lobby, just keeping himself together. And, one of the all-time greats in WWE, I not only bring him up because of what we heard the other day, but when you talk about the long Roman Reigns title reign, that comes from a Bruno Sammartino or a Bob Backlund, that era of wrestling that I'm really kind of, obsessed with because it was just before our time.
Right. Randy Orton with the big victory over Kevin Owens too. We are now down to Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul. And I did say I think my personal two favorites are Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. They're both still there. We'll see as this match progresses.
Dave, I'm fighting through the tired a little bit. I was a little delirious there for a bit, and now I almost feel awake now. And we are, getting to the end of this match. And I think I'm not going to say it's the action of the match that woke me up, but this match really kind of this might be match of the night. And we've had a lot of good matches so far.
And what you're going through is normal. That's called the bread life. All right. You get up early, you're very out of it, and then you're a little delirious, and then you start to hit your stride like early on around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It's a different animal.
Yeah, working that second shift life, you know what's going on, Sass. Really kind of fucking sucks. You're used to getting up later, going to bed later.
Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre had a really nice, intense face-off. It's the little things, and Orton and McIntyre are, I think at heart just a couple old school guys. Orton obviously has that heritage. It's very nice power slam by Orton. He has one of the best power slams, that power slam off the ropes I'm talking about, like in the business.
Yeah, almost like that Dustin Rhodes. They come off the rope and it's like they just go right with it.
Yeah, Dustin too. You're right. I can't believe I forgot about Dustin.
The sun is peeking through the clouds here.
Ooh. Logan Paul gets crotched here. That's happened again. I mean, you got to give it to WWE the way they book Logan Paul too, like just to be near the top. And, the old days, Vince would have the celebrities almost win all the time. Logan hasn't won every match, but he's also had great matches, and he's a U.S. champion now. He's having a good run with it. And, I can't complain. I really have enjoyed how they've handled and booked Logan so far.
He's kind of been the first celebrity that's been incorporated into the roster.
Yes. Right.
Now, I don't know if I've asked you this question before, but I know it's been brought up at work. Who's got a better buckshot lariat, Logan Paul or Hangman Page?
I'll go Hangman. Maybe just because, obviously he's the originator, but I don't know. I feel like Hangman is just pretty good. It's funny I say that though, because if you asked me who the better athlete was, I'd probably say Logan Paul. And
I'm going to go Logan Paul, and I'm going to give you the reason, and I told the kid that asked me at work about this, is Logan Paul, his buckshot lariat shouldn't be as good as it is for the time that he's been in the business.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I think it's better. Hangman has recently, I've noticed a real renaissance since he got that Magnum TA mustache. And I hate mustaches, so it's really made the character, I feel.
That's funny. Yeah, I like the heel work by Hangman Page the last few weeks over there on AEW. What he's doing with Strickland and how
he's almost a coward's way of like he doesn't even care if he wins, but as long as Strickland loses, as Logan Paul.
Now, our next live watch along, Dave will probably not be a part of, because that's AEW Revolution next Sunday. Next Sunday, March 3rd.
Yes. So I will not probably be a part of that. And here's the deal. It's so funny because after that, I should be able to do any watch along pretty much. Unless life gets in the way and there's family stuff that could come up, obviously. But
He's got 5 kids, so there's still a possibility for something to come up, but those carbs ain't going to keep Dave from the watch long no more. He's getting out of that red light.
No, there will be after, in the next few weeks, we should have no more issues with Dave having to be up late. But we'll see. Life can be funny. Hopefully that should be done soon. Yeah, if that AEW pay-per-view was just maybe another week.
Why couldn't they? I really like the Saturday pay-per-views. I'm starting to get spoiled when I see a pay-per-view on Sunday, and I start getting upset about it. Like, why would you do that to us?
Yeah, especially AEW because they're. Excuse me, I yawn microphone here.
Late pay-per-views, yeah.
Yeah, so late, and to do it on a Sunday is rough. But
and I'm gonna argue, not only are they late, but it's the way the shows are paced. That for some reason, by the end of the pay-per-view, you feel worn out, you feel tired.
Yeah, so next weekend is that AEW Revolution then?
Yep, March 3rd.
Ugh, bastards.
It's been creeping up quick, and I would argue that they've been building it up on TV, but see, I don't know. I don't like to dwell on the negative, so I don't want to talk bad about AEW, but I just haven't been feeling the build up to this pay-per-view as much. It doesn't feel as major.
Right.
I'm very excited for BCC versus FTR. Sting's it's Sting's retirement pay-per-view, and the level of excitement isn't where it's at. That should tell you something. And AEW just recently hired a noted writer. I believe she's won awards for daytime writing. So hopefully that will help bring some structure to the company.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they need to do something probably to get some people looking their way. I mean, I enjoy AEW still, but you can tell it's not the hot brand that it once was, and that's evident by the attendance and everything like that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I wish them luck. Randy Orton now.
Any great wrestling company isn't just like run by one person. The myth is that it was always Vince McMahon being the head of it, but you look at having people like Pat Patterson there as a wrestling mind. You need not maybe a big wrestling writing committee, but you need a collection of minds to help you shape it. And Jimmy Jacobs is there. There are people that are in the system, but you just want to see a better collaboration, a better product come out of it. And we've been seeing it a lot with WWE. Like, think about since this whole Vince McMahon thing, how much they've turned around their image of their in-ring product, at least.
So I'm watching Drew looking like he was going for the kick here. And Orton's back is being sold here, and Drew's looking at him. I'm just going to call it. I think we're getting an RK out of nowhere. I think Randy Orton is going to end up taking this.
Wow, see, I'm watching from the way I'm seeing it now. I'm like, God, Drew is. Oh,
we shall see. Oh. I was thinking that this would be also a great heel way too, if you wanted to really put Drew over. But I don't know.
Yeah, because Drew's been looking so dominant, and this just feels like his event.
There's that RKO out of nowhere. Joe did make a noise, but I forgot about Logan Paul was still in the goddamn match. Oh wait, no, he's not in the match. He just took that.
No, they've been It probably doesn't help with the sound down that they're opening this chamber door at times.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah,
it's
they're getting them out of there.
allowing people in.
Oh. He screwed over Orton. So
I
we're
really
going to get
enjoyed that
Logan
match.
Paul. That was a real good match. Yeah. And Joseph, that means we're probably going to get Logan Paul, Randy Orton at WrestleMania, which I did not see that coming, but interesting.
Maybe, I mean, is it Logan Paul, Randy Orton? Is it Logan Paul, KO? Do we get
Maybe a three-way?
See, I hate it because you could do the cop-out and do that three-way match, but okay, so Slim Jim Long Boys. I don't know if this is a new type of Slim Jim or if this is just a way for them to brand on it, but
Long Boys.
good to see Slim Jim as a sponsor of WWE going way back to the Macho Man days.
Talking about that Working Fans podcast when you're talking about them Long Boys, you know what I'm saying? All right. Ain't no Slim Jim here, though.
Yeah, going almost 3 hours there.
Almost 3 hours. We're closing up with the main event is about to happen on this show, brother.
I would argue the main event's been going for the last 2 hours and 55 minutes. Man called Dave taking the helm of this. Tagged in later.
Long Boys. The Long Boys been going on here for almost 3 hours, baby. Oh, man.
I was clicking on those comments, hoping we were going to have somebody pop back in. This is a unique watch-along, too, because on the watch-alongs, we've had a lot of interaction with people. So this has been more dependent on us. And as somebody that makes the comment or the content, I would say it's probably less fun to have to do it like this, but you learn a different gear. You learn a different way to put stuff out there.
Interesting.
Graphic is up for Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. I could see Drew taking that title and actually getting a title run during a time where there are fans in attendance.
Don't forget, man, Damian Priest is still lurking around with that briefcase, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Look at Drew's back there, quite beat up.
Yeah. He does with the ref here.
And like Dave, since the WWE has gone to commercial, I'm going to go to a quick commercial for us because, you know, we're down in Australia. We're watching Elimination Chamber, but somewhere, somebody's got to be in Wrestleville.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harrison, Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories, including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.
And we spent a lot of time talking about that Bob Backlund book. But if you want to check out some other great books, Vinnie Barry, he's written 4 of them now. And he came on our radar with the Lance Von Erich book. And I remember when Dave told me about that interview, I was like, Lance Von Erich book, who cares? And then when you read it and you get to see Lance's story and then the other stories that Vinny has been able to tell, the Pro Wrestling Vault Volume 1 and 2, great collection of a lot of wrestling short stories. And he went back to the long form with Wrestle Black Bart, which is another book I didn't expect to care about going in, but it's got to be, I'm going to say it's like number 2 or 3 of my favorite wrestling books, just because of the detail Bart goes into about his career. and you see all these different places that he competed. And I can't say enough about Vinny Berry as an author. Hit him up on Facebook if you're still on Facebook and you can get a hold of him. Or go to WrestleVille.com, order his books off Amazon. Friend of the show, Jake St. John, ordered Wrestle Black Bart.
And so you're saying that out of all of Vinny Berry's collection so far, you'd say Black Bart is your favorite book?
Yes. It's tough because I really like the Pro Wrestling Volume 1 and 2 because you got a lot of like different stories.
Yeah.
But just the detail Bart is able to go into in his career. And if you watch our interview with Vinny Berry, he talked about, like, much like Bret Hart, Black Bart kept like audio diaries of his time coming up. So you can see the detail in the book, and you can tell that Bart wanted to tell his story and gave Vinny a lot to work with.
I'm watching this graphic now. I'm trying to read some of this. So 7 p.m. start, live April 6th and April 7th, on April 7th.
Interesting. You know, Joe, I think that I have this feeling that we're going to be doing watch-alongs of both nights at Mania, and I have a feeling that I'll be doing it with 2 different tag partners. I just have this feeling that one night you might be doing this with your brother, and one night I might be doing this with AJ, who's going to be at night 1 at WrestleMania.
Yes, that's going to be something. We'll see if we get content from in the stadium.
Yeah, AJ got his
WrestleMania is always a wild time because there's so many events to cover from then. Like, you're going to have GCW doing Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Nick Nemeth versus Speedball Mike Bailey is one of the matches on there.
Oh, Joe, I'm gonna bail out for a second. I want to see what's going on here. I see my man Trips coming out.
He's in the ring. It looks like they're doing something big. Dave jumping out when I got a bit of a tummy ache. Hitting that Monster Energy early. I'm not going to blame it on the athletic greens. But yeah, it's great for Triple H to be out here and be able to take everything in. You know, I think moments like this are going to be important too because he needs to reset the energy with WWE after everything that's happened with Vince McMahon and people getting on Triple H for maybe not saying something or addressing it as heavily. So Dave's going to tell us what he's saying when he comes back, but I like seeing this in the ring. Obviously, this is a safer way to get out there and talk to the people than in something like a press conference. Once again, thank you to anybody watching this watch along. If you're in the US, we're happy you're getting up early with us. If you're watching elsewhere in the world, thank you for joining us. Let us know in the comments where you are watching from. Even if you're watching this after the fact, whenever you're watching this, hit us in the comments. Let us know where you're at. Watch along, sponsored by Game Up Hard Hydration, our new sponsor. And Dave, was that just an attendance announcement?
That's all it was, my man. 52,590. We can see it right there. But I just figured, just in case, I wanted to be able to have something ready for us to talk about with the fans if there was an announcement. But nope, just an attendance announcement. So 52,000. So good on them. I did get a message from AJ too, by the way.
Is he watching?
He just said great pay-per-view. I don't know what time he started watching. I didn't ask, you know.
Did you even tell him that we're going live? Is he amazed? He's like, you guys are live? How did I not hear about this?
No, I mean, well, let's see. We're on Twitch, we're on X, and we're on YouTube. I shared on Facebook, but I'm not friends with him, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if he knows. Might tune in. Well, I should tell him, I guess, that we're on here. Give him the opportunity.
You want to come in for the main event?
Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm doing this live.
I would, but my phone is dead. It's been dead since I woke up. I thought the iPad was dead for a little bit there. When Dave was broadcasting, I was backstage for a minute trying to get the Fire Stick figured out, and then luckily the iPad was fired up. And these are details you're only going to get on a watch along like this because we're tired and we don't know what to say at this point. I feel like if we were more awake during the day, we would possibly be a little smoother. But I have a feeling you don't tune into the Working Fans podcast for the smoothness of broadcasting.
So I just hit him with this is some live feedback as we go along. I just hit him that we were doing this, and I started it myself at 5 a.m. And then I said, "You're welcome to drop in. There's one more match." But I got that little thought bubble before I even got the one more match left. There was already writing happening. I don't know. But you did get the invite. I wonder if I just changed the tone of what this would have been. Oh, you invite me? All right. Well, all right. Let me hold on. So far,
is he jumping in?
He hasn't got back. He's writing something. I'm gonna call this. If I had known, I would have done it.
And
yeah.
As Maury likes to say, in that in fact is a lie.
I know. He's not an early bird, so he's definitely actually, I would say, if anything, I'm about to read what he responded with now, but anything, he's more likely to stay up all night and watch it. By the time I set up, it will be done. My Drew pick came through. Yes, it did. That's what AJ's about. He's about the picks, you know? For people who don't know, me and AJ always have these little picks and stuff too. And yeah, my man got it. So that's fine. By the time he sets up, what is his setup like that it takes this long? Like
I know if you've watched him, he definitely doesn't put the dogs away. He definitely doesn't break out a light. So it takes my man 20 to 30 minutes to open a laptop and click on a link.
Must have something going on with that laptop. Well, we are seeing the video package for it now. I'll just throw this graphic up here as we get ready for the main event. Rhea Ripley
by Game Up Hard Hydration.
Right, thank you. Rhea Ripley defends the WWE Women's Championship against, since returning, the undefeated Nia Jax. Yeah, I'm building this up better than you, WWE. Shit. Perth, Australia, the home of Rhea Ripley.
I gotta say, does this say more about Rhea Ripley or less about Nia Jax? Because, you know, like, is Ripley just such a big star that it doesn't matter who you put her in the ring with?
Yes.
And with Nia Jax, do we just think so little of her that we're looking at this as a one-person match?
It's just who she is right now. She's been built fine. I mean, I'm not going to say there's not a possibility, but this is the one I'm most confident about, is that Ripley's winning. Let's put it that way. She's been built well going into this. If you're following the program every week, she's been built well, but this is just Rhea's chance to shine. Like, you know, she said she's been all over the media day, and, you know, it's not like it would take somebody special in there right now for me to think that Rhea's going to lose. It would have to be somebody like a Jade Cargo who I'm like, oh, they're investing all this time in. She might win this and shock the world. You know what I mean? Or, you know, maybe Becky Lynch. I think I would favor Ripley over anybody right now in Australia. So.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say it again. If it were Vince, 50-50 shot of Nia Jax winning. But I don't see how you don't send this crowd home happy. Plus, what are you gonna win from? What are you gonna get from Nia Jax winning this title?
My buddy AJ.
Like, who's gonna be taking it off her immediately after this?
I mean, Becky Lynch, they set up a feud with Nia. So, but again, I think that's smoke and mirrors. I think Becky and Nia will probably meet on one of the episodes coming up. But
that's something they did do too. But yeah, no doubt. This is Ripley's time. My man AJ said I suggested to watch along, and you all laughed at me. Well, AJ, we thought you were joking, and you're not really known as a night owl, and I mean you're more of a night owl rather. So yeah, and I didn't think we'd get up. I thought I'd be working today too.
Honestly, I thought Dave was joking when he first mentioned the watch along.
Yeah, I should tell.
So yes, that is on us for doing this more last minute. Plus, anybody that, if you're not in a podcast, sometimes it is difficult to get a lot of schedules together, especially for something wild like this. If it's 8 p.m. on any average night, usually easy to assemble people. You go for 5 a.m., you don't know who's up at that time. And I definitely want to go back and watch this and listen to the sound of the entrance here. They've got to be going wild. Yeah, watch-alongs is something that, I mean, we started it with the Survivor Series one, and they get pretty good responses for us. And now that we have a sponsor, we have all the more reason to do more of them.
Absolutely. Rhea Ripley, you see the Australian flag as part of her outfit too, right? She just looks different. She's got that unique look. She really embraces this kind of like crazy golf character. She has fun with the fans. I'm just gonna say it. She looks good. She looks strong too. Like this is a star. This is a star, and she brings out different audience here. The only problem I would say, if I wanted to nitpick with Ripley, is that she is technically a heel, and it's not that she doesn't make an effort to be a heel, but I think she just looks like so much of a star that people just really like her.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a hometown situation.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of hard to get that like huge heel feeling off of it. Man called Dave squaring things away with AJ here.
No, we brothers. He said no worries, great pay-per-view. And I'm actually just asking him, did you start it early? I'm kind of genuinely curious if AJ got up or what happened. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, because I mean,
it's kind of funny to think AJ got up early today. I wish we were doing a watch along. I'd have fun with this. I couldn't imagine though. I actually couldn't imagine him driving here at that, because he would have wanted to probably meet here unless something was happening and say his wife wasn't home. I'm airing my man's dirty laundry. But, if his wife
or
wasn't,
she's not awake.
How
great would that have been? His wife walking in the shot.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here? What are you watching?
This shit again, AJ. Haven't you grown up yet? Oh man. Wow. You can see the look on her face there. Like, she's throwing it out there. She's acting intense, but I don't know. I saw a look in her eyes there. Just a moment of, you can almost see it, almost teary-eyed a little bit. There's a moment of real appreciation of this moment where she's overcome a little bit, but thankfully the makeup, and she's such a pro. She's not showing it too much, but man, this has got to be such a huge moment for this lady. Just to think like where
it's
she's
like her WrestleMania.
What's that?
It's like her WrestleMania.
It is, yeah. But I mean, just to think where she's been in her career, and she's another one where Rhea Ripley has really shined. And I know people will say this is Nia Jax was a Vince hire. He came back, hired her, and then he got out. But credit to Triple H, who did, saw enough. Maybe this event was coming up and like, okay, I'm going to have her beat Becky Lynch and have Becky win the chamber. And I'm going to have Nia lay out some people, and it's going to take several women to get her out of the Royal Rumble. I'm going to do all this because we're going to set this up. And I know I want Rhea to have probably a credible challenger going into this event. Ain't going to fool a couple old dogs like us who've been around for a long time. But, credit to, making this, worth it here.
And it's that thing that Vince got away from in wrestling a little bit, but you have a woman of a different shape in there too. You get it with like a Dewdrop and a Nia Jax, like maybe a more imposing force as an opponent.
Sure. No. It takes all different types of shapes and sizes, and that's what makes it interesting. And I think that's something for a while, even with the men in particular too. Vince got very cookie cutter for a while when there was no WCW, no competition for many of those years. It was like the knot that everybody was kind of looking like each other.
Yeah, now we're starting to see more Otises, more Bronson Reeds.
Mm. Yeah, even in the last few years, even before Vince left, there was the occasional we were seeing other people pop up. But one thing with Hunter is we're definitely seeing people like Chad Gable, who got a win over Ivar this weekend. And, I put out there, who's going to beat Gunther this week for the Intercontinental Champion. Like, people were mentioning Chad Gable, even though, like, I don't think his necessary run. Oh, nice. Rhea Ripley go over Hurricanrana off the ropes there a little bit in a drop kick. It's interesting to see her battling as a face here.
Yeah, I don't want to come down on Nia, but she, to me, just not looking great in the ring.
Yeah. Let's give a little, what do you call that? Like those Vader type clotheslines there where Vader would hit you with both arms, the shoulder tackle. But
oh, yep.
Yeah, she got one of those. I'm seeing her throw Ripley on her head. It's not pretty, It's a very Jim Ross would say bowling ugly style. Yeah. Now look at her rubbing the makeup on. I'm tempted to do some heel work here though a little bit.
Yeah, I think Nia's really taken on, at least for this match, that
oh yeah,
kind of being able to read the situation.
Rubbing the butt in her Ripley's face there. Making the people mad. And that's fine. That's okay. Get that reaction there. And you see Ripley's going to battle out as the baby face here. I'm guessing we won't get a Judgment Day celebration at the end. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I imagine backstage they'll probably meet her, but
yeah. But
yeah, not in front of
still tag champions. Priest still Money in the Bank. Ripley with his women's championship. Can we get gold on JD and Dom somehow?
I was gonna say 24/7 title, but I don't think they have that anymore.
No, they got rid of that shit. And,
thankfully,
it'd have to be. They'd have to go down to NXT, I think.
Yeah, that thing was defended anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, just like another title we know down in New Heights Wrestling, anytime, anywhere championship.
And those 24/7, those hardcore type championships, I don't know. I go back and forth on them because, like, we talk bad about the 24/7 championship, but then when you look at how the Anytime Anywhere championship is defended, even though it doesn't feel like a main title, it is still something that you see great matches coming out of, and people still go wild for it. So, but to me, I just like having those titles that you get defended during matches. It's when the match can happen anywhere that it stretches the concept a little bit, it seems.
I definitely.
It's really something watching wrestling with the sound off and not being able to get those context clues from the, from the crowd, how things are going.
Taking care of my man Pete here too, doing double duty. Sorry about that, folks on there. These watch alongs are long, and it is an early one, so we are multitasking. Maybe not bringing the excitement level right now, but I'll try. Nia Jax, she got Ripley in a torture rack. A torture rack. By God. And isn't it something that Jim Ross is the voice I think of when I think of excitement?
Ripley, I know.
protein choke.
getting a lot of talk about how he is recently, but if you watch those classic events, he really gets things. He really gets fired up for things. I'm answering text over here as well, so
Yes. We try to be professional. We start off on fire. But when you start off around 5 a.m. and we're going into like the 3.5 hour mark, and again, no offense, but and a match that I think is more spectacle and maybe even better with the sound on, but we know the outcome of, we feel very confident about. Yeah, we're waning over here, folks. Our working fans are tired fans right now.
yeah, and this is why we don't do a lot of watch-alongs during the day, because it's easy at night because you've got your whole day behind you. You're settling down to watch a pay-per-view. This is a pay-per-view that we're watching like as the day is getting started, so it's an interesting setup.
Yeah, Nia doing a couple power bombs in a row, so some good high impact moves. I got to give her credit for that. Leg drop to the back of the head. Rhea's selling like she's out of it. Yeah, and I gotta think the big story of this match, the story that me and Joe are not particularly getting here, is probably the crowd reaction right now.
Yeah, that's what's got to be loud there.
It's funny. We talk about how WWE had bad creative for so many years. Do they benefit almost now from that? Some points where are there certain fans who probably watch this and go, Nia might win. Watch, they're gonna screw us, and then they don't end up screwing them, and people are like, oh, holy shit.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Only because we're such like seasoned wrestling fans, and we watch enough of it that it's like, God, I don't know maybe how the average person could take it. Like, I would be surprised if there's anyone out there watching thinking Nia has a chance, but we don't think often about like the casual fan.
Right, how they view this. Yeah. People are wondering if The Rock's really mad. nice drop kick off the top rope. By the way, I really am enjoying aspects of this match, I have to say. Like Ripley working as a babyface and using some aerial maneuvers, like the drop kick off the top rope, walking the top rope, and then doing a quick hurricanrana. Those are things I wouldn't expect her to do. And quite frankly, it's very interesting to see her break that out. And it really shows another side of her to me that, wow, Ripley's even more of a versatile performer athletically than I realized. Nice Samoan drop by Nia Jax. Obviously, she's probably a natural at that move. Goes for that leg drop again.
Yeah, it is interesting to see, the different dynamics that Ripley can bring out in her character, given the unique setup of this situation. God, this brings me back to watching New Japan at this time where, like, usually Wrestle Kingdom will come on at, like, a 4 or 5. And there were a couple of years ago where I'd get up at this hour. I was working first shift anyway, so you just wake up a little earlier and watch the show. But
that was my
it's something different to start your day off watching wrestling.
I was going to wake at 4 something, just put this on in the background, and it would have been fine, I would have been doing bread. All right, Nia going for that Samoa drop off the ropes and hits it. Good Lord. Nice cover, too. Doing everything to make it believable. You got to appreciate that. A high impact move. Great cover. But in the end, this is Ripley's moment. Come on, people. What are we doing here?
And it's a little, I kind of find it interesting that Nia Jax pays tribute to Yokozuna with that Samoan or the bonsai drop.
Yeah.
Notable non-Japanese. For all those years, I'm kind of surprised that I thought Yokozuna was Japanese, and then you find out
you were young,
Samoan dude.
You were young. You didn't know. Ripley had Nia on her shoulders. Man, that's how strong she is. Drops her face first on the turnbuckle, and now Ripley going to that top again. using some more offense. And I didn't even say this too. Oh wow, look at she's doing a little Latino shimmy there. She goes to the ropes for a frog splash, perhaps. Oh, and she hits it.
Near fall.
Now, I have to say too, the aerial moves also are nice because it makes sense, right? Because she's not normally wrestling somebody who's bigger than she is and who probably has a power advantage over her. So she's breaking some of that aerial stuff out, which is great.
Yeah, a lot of the competitors in the women's division are not very tall, not very sizable. Rhea Ripley, one of the taller ones, and we're really seeing her, struggle with the size of Nia Jax here, which is interesting. It adds something to the match. Feels like a struggle.
Absolutely. Now, I'm seeing Ripley catch. Ooh, okay, you might have saw that already. That was an interesting bump Nia took right on her head on the ring apron on the way down. I always worry when I see a woman of somewhat bigger stature falling on her head like that. She also had some knee issues in the past. I see Ripley getting this table ready. Joe knows what's about to happen probably, or he will before I will.
Midway through it right now.
Yeah. All right, I cannot see Ripley power bombing Nia Jax through a table. Good Lord. Oh, okay. Samoan drop, counter. Man, those monitors are still up there. She got those
That's
monitors.
what didn't look pretty about it. She got slammed on there. It's like nothing moved. You could tell it had to be digging into the back.
Oh yeah, not good. Hopefully not. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. No, with an elbow. Oh, if Ripley's not injured after this, I'll be a happy man.
Now, was Yokozuna represented on that Samoan family tree from SmackDown? He had to be, right?
Yes.
Don't you people worry about what Dave's doing. He's handling wrestling business over here.
I got a delirious bread guy over here who needs some assistance too. Taking care of wrestling business.
So, we said it. Next live watch along going to be AEW Revolution. That will probably be a me and AJ thing, possibly. And then it's going to be NXT Stand and Deliver WrestleMania. Who knows? There might even be a super card of honor in there. We saw earlier the graphic said we're 42 days away from WrestleMania, so that's coming quick. Diesel! Calling the dog in the room. Come on, buddy. Just kind of taking in this match here. It's been a battle between these two. Rhea's really been fighting to... She's set up picking up Jax a lot, but it's like she hasn't really followed through with it. So you got to feel like that's got to be the culmination of the match. Her putting a big move on Nia Jax. 8:30 a.m.
30 a.m.
We're still going strong.
Yeah. Handling bread business at this point. I don't give a fuck.
It's tough when the main event is that locked down, and we forgot about the main event till midway through the last match. So I'm gonna guess that's Ripley's family up front.
Oh, I got more bread questions.
Rhea's got a chance. Rhea had a chance. I'm reading the captions here, and finally the big move put on her. And Dave will be catching up in a minute here.
Oh. Holy shit. Wow. She hits that pump handle slam. a pin with authority, and we got the victory.
This has got to be something to listen to the sound of that crowd going wild there. Even though they had to have expected that. That was a better main event than I expected out of Nia Jax.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No doubt.
And she could probably now finally take this in, being less in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, good for her. Good performance by Ripley. Good by WWE for booking this with her in the main event. Sends the crowd home happy. I'm going to guess that's probably why maybe the men's chamber didn't finish too, right? They didn't want to send the crowd of that size, home with Drew McIntyre going on top.
Yeah, because this was going to be the big moment for them. It's great to see, women main eventing an event. And, they're going crazy for this win in Australia. But you know who else is going out of their mind for this?
Who? Tell me who.
WrestleVille.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by WrestleVille.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harrison, Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at WrestleVille.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.